What is up, Whisper Nation, and welcome in to the official past the halfway mark of the Fantasy Football Mock Draft Marathon presented by the Fantasy Whispers. We are the best kept secret in fantasy football, where we keep that week one feeling going all year long, and we keep going through the clock, keeping it going all 24 hours long. And I'm here with one of my best friends, Austin. Austin, we're doing it, man.
We're doing it. We're doing it. It's happening right now. We're mocking the clock. We're over halfway. Here we go. It's year 4. We got Mario in the house. I'm really excited.
Are you trying to be a little bit lower? Are you trying to whisper? Look, is it on brand?
Oh no, here we go. Is this better?
Oh yeah, it's so much better. I got a little scared there. I thought you were.
I gave myself a little tuffet to sit on, so they made me a little bit taller, and so the microphone was further away.
How's that feel on your bum?
It feels good on my back, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like Scott says, wipe the coke off your nose, Travi. Trust me, it wouldn't matter if it was off my nose or on my nose at this point. But anyways, we're rocking and rolling. We're doing the thing, and we are pleased to be joined by our man Mario from the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. These guys are awesome. We found them through social media. How are you doing, Mario? How's it going over there, brother?
Dude, it's good. I'm excited to be on here with you boys. You guys know I'm a huge fan of your guys' work, and this whole mockathon is awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, we just appreciated all the kind words you had and the curiosity. I know I went on your guys' show a couple weeks back as well. You guys are doing it right. You're doing it for your people and the fun and the industry, and you guys just have a very unique, the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. Talk a little bit about that, the evolution of that, and kind of how that came to be.
Yeah, so we actually did a podcast about 4 out of the 6 guys that are currently doing it back in 2019 called the Fantasy Bye Week. So a little less of a fun name there. We did it. 2020 happened with COVID, and also 2 of the guys having their firstborns. Kind of just all of that happening at the same time. We decided to bow out of 2020. Sat out again 2021, and then this past year we've come back and we've really been committed to it. Like we're already leaps and bounds from where we were in 2019, just understanding social media more. Mm-hmm. So now we're here. We're trying to meet as many people in the fantasy community. Like I touched base with you guys very early on when we started, because I think your guys' show is so crisp and so well produced that I was like, how do I mold this show to a point where it's like so organized and well put like your guys's? And I'm not on here just like kind of blowing smoke or anything, but like it's truth. Like I love your guys's work. So currently that's what we're doing with our show, is trying to get it up to a good level for people to enjoy and have fun with us.
Well, I got to say, just as a testament to that attitude towards it, and first of all, thanks for the kind words. But also your guys' attitude toward your guys' intro video was absolutely hilarious. You got the cheers kind of music.
Is this where everybody knows your pain?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Honestly now wish we would have had you guys give us that video. We could have played it right here for Whisper Nation.
I showed it to Chelsea after Travis showed. He's like, hey, I'm going to be guesting on this guy's show. Like, they're awesome. Yeah. And then he played the video for Johnny and I, and we were rolling. Like, we just, and then so much was like the next day, I'm like, Chelsea, you got to see this. And she's like, I'm working. I'm like, you just watch it really quick. And then I showed it to her, and she loved it too. It's great, man. That shit was really good.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun making that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, best intro video in the game, as Chelsea says. They're so good. We love it. Yeah. All right, so we boys are doing a 12-team standard draft. So again, trying to mix some things up here. Not doing PPR, not doing Superflex, single QB, but standard.
Tolton?
Yes, exactly. This is our league of record. We'll just fuck it. We'll say it. It's a 6-point touchdown scoring. I don't think you can actually change that scoring setting in your mock draft, but we'll say it is here. So everybody adjust accordingly. Mario, I believe you took is that the 8th spot? Talk a little bit about what you were thinking when you selected this spot here.
Well, here's what I was thinking. I didn't realize it was standard till today, at some point today. So A spot is actually one of the spots that like people hate. They're like, even if it's PPR, they're like, I hate the A spot. I've actually really come to enjoy the A spot, because I got to be honest with you fellas. I don't have that CMC confidence, not necessarily saying he's a bad player. It's nothing like that. I don't know about Derrick Henry. They're just all getting up there, right? Like CMC is only 25, but his touches are high, and we've seen 2 seasons. Yeah. So like those, I don't make those picks early on. I'd rather be in the A spot where I know there's one of the 8. Yep, one of the 8 that I like will be left, and I kind of just go with that typically every time. This time will be a little bit different though on standard.
I like that approach on this. I'm actually interested to see where you're at. I went at the 10 spot because this is our league of record settings. As we mentioned, Tolton, that's the name of our league of record. And we do our draft order. The default is we do a March Madness bracket. And the order in which our league, which you finish in that tournament, is where you get to make your pick. So if you finish 1, you don't necessarily get the 1-1 spot. You just get to pick your spot. And then on Friday night of our draft weekend, which we do on Labor Day, we do have a little ceremony where the first person goes and they get their Velcro and they go to the board and they bam and they stick it wherever they want it. And anyways, I'm picking 12. I'm in the last spot.
Yeah.
And I expect to be like 8, 9, 10 is where I expect to end up probably picking. So more practice, the better.
That's the best way to do it too. Like even if you randomize it, whatever, like let the 10 who is the 101 pick if they want to be 112.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, yeah, we want to pick the selections for sure.
Yeah.
So I love it. So without further ado, we're 11 minutes into the 13th hour. Let's get going here. Let's start this thing up.
I'm like really actually pumped up, Travis. Like I'll probably be in like the 8, 9, 10 spot in Tolton, and we haven't gotten a chance to rumble this way. So like,
I know we've done 12 drafts already, and not one matches our scoring because like standard is kind of going away.
The other one was it was a 14 team standard.
Yeah,
the other
exactly.
standard
It's not really like what. Oh, I like this setup. I am confident in CMC just as far as ceiling's concerned, and I like taking him here. He kind of fell here. Obviously, Derrick Henry in a standard, I could see him going a little bit high there. Our guy Don Flick did it.
I love Derrick. I mean, Derrick Henry. The only thing we're concerned about is injury, and I get it. It could and did and probably will happen again, but like that's football, also.
Yeah,
like
and like. I love all the guys that are going right now. I do. And I think this comes out to like, if I had the choice, this is actually what I would choose is 8, because I don't want to be all season long living in this life where I pick the one that gets hurt and I have to just live with regret on the one out of the 5 guys that I picked that got hurt. So I'm just like, okay, I know there's 8 guys that I really, really freaking love. So might as well just let Destiny choose it for me. And here it is.
And here it is. And Destiny is now calling your name.
We had Scott talking about hookers in the video and wiping Coke off our nose. Like it must be past midnight wherever Scott's at because he's progressively gotten weirder now. I love it, man. Let's just keep rocking. Whispers after dark. You know how it goes. When we get a little weird here in the back half here. Go ahead, Mario. I cut you off there. Joe Mixon.
No. Yeah, so like this had to change up my approach, and I think I'm actually too low on Joe Mixon in my ranks right now, but. I mean, Joe Mixon I think that would be, I would take him over Najee in the standard.
Well, and that's kind of my thing, right? That's interesting you say that because we just had a conversation a couple weeks ago, Mario, and you were talking about Najee. You were really in on Najee. Did some things change, or do you just love the upside of Mixon a little bit more?
This was a standard sort of approach to that. My love with Najee is that I am convinced, I am like as confident as I can be about Najee going to have 300 touches. And like that could be, I don't know, 75 receptions, 65 receptions or whatever, but I still am not necessarily sold on his efficiency. I am always taking Najee at right around the 8 in PPR because it's just such I feel so confident in the work that he's going to get and the volume is going to be there.
Yeah, it's hard to take that away, right? And especially in the first round, I mean, for me, I want to just have as solid a pick as I kind of can. Like you can swing for the fences in a lot of places in the draft. The first round, one of the things I haven't said this yet on the mockathon here, but if I'm on a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other between 2 guys in the first round, and it's a running back I'm deciding between, I'm looking at who has an actual handcuff. If there's one position to get an insurance policy on, if there's one round you'd like to back up, it'd be your first round selection. And I've gone through this ringer so many times. I used to be obsessed with handcuffs. Not every running back actually has a handcuff. You know, some do. Some it's a really clear replacement. You know, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. It's been clean. I mean, Kareem Hunt has standalone value as well, but when you have a clean, like a Dalvin Cook and an Alexander Madison, that's a pretty clean 1-for-1. But like Derrick Henry, he doesn't really have a clean 1-for-1. It's not that same type of shebang. So I do take that into consideration when I'm making my first round selection.
Makes it easier to insure the guy. I get it.
Yeah, and it's a game of attrition. Like it is a game of attrition.
Especially with the running back position, right? Like that's the one it's a game of attrition the most on. So if you can kind of do it, I feel that I do. I just think even when we thought we've known, we have.
You're on the clock.
In the first ones, what are we gonna do?
Some sexy wide receivers, but you also got Kamara.
Yeah, all these running backs went.
What are you guys feeling about Kamara at this point?
So we had Drew Davenport on, was that last week, Austin? Maybe the week before. Last Thursday we had him on. And he's a 21-year seasoned criminal defense attorney. Drew Davenport, FF, follow him on Twitter. And he basically said it's probably that it's going to get commuted to next season. Like they've already pushed the case out. It's probably going to get pushed even further if any kind of thing comes down. Basically, that the NFL's learned their lesson from the Zeke case and Jerry Jones getting very upset that they do not want to intervene with what the actual law will do, right? So they want to let the legal process play out. And what we know of the case is it probably will take a while. Kamara's highly paid defense defense
attorney, out of Las Vegas, one of the best in the country, is doing good work for him, and not like any shady shit. He's just it's just being well handled, as Drew put it. And there were two major points that are impacting the Kamara timeline. The first is that the video we all saw that is really indictful of Alvin Kamara. It's like it's hard to deny it, right? It's like, is this you, sir? Yeah, that's me. So then that's you pounding this dude's face. Well, deductive reasoning, you don't have a lot of it to be able to make out what's going on there. But that video wasn't introduced until just a couple of days before that certain hearing was coming up. And so when that comes forward, the defense team gets a chance to be like, whoa, we got to go ahead now and like spend some time looking at this, looking into it. Like we really got to get our bearings. This came out of nowhere for us. And so the judge says, okay, that's cool. And so then that gives them some more time. And then they asked for a work continuance. And it's like, oh, Alvin Kamara's in the NFL. This is coming up. That work continuance, whether you're in the NFL or you're working a regular type job, is almost always granted. Drew said, he's like, look, this isn't like a special treatment kind of thing. He's like, I ask for continuances based on my client's work schedule, and it's granted like all the time. It's just how it kind of goes. And so this is Kamara. This is how he feeds his family. This is how he eats. And so that continuance looks like it's going to be granted, which means he's got a good chance of playing the whole season.
That's kind of vastly different than the sort of updates that I was going based off of, because for a while it looked like he was going to miss about 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is like we came into the conversation with Drew thinking that maybe it was more gloom and doom for Kamara than previously, because again, and he was basically like, the industry's kind of got it a little bit wrong. Like they are speculating more than they are actually looking. And Drew does such a good job to dig through these cases and understand all the facts and what's most likely. And he's, again, a guy that, he thinks what he thinks about the Deshaun Watson case, and the Dalvin Cook and Kamara seemed a lot more similar as far as legal process and pushing them out and what could happen after that. So, yeah.
So no, that's definitely different.
Yeah, we also talked a little bit about the other ones to update on there was Dalvin Cook. That was a really interesting bit too, because that legal case seemed a little clear, like, oh, we've got a suspension coming, and now we really don't know what we're looking at, and that's because of the duplicitous nature in this one, or the what was the word when two things are happening at the same time, Travis, that he had used?
Asking a lot of me. I don't remember.
Dude,
I don't remember. Oh,
well, the two things are basically happening in parallel, and there's probably truth to both. Like, unfortunately, there is probably violence that has occurred to a heinous degree, and then there's probably been abuse on the other side as well. Whether or not it's to the same level at this point it's just going to kick it down it's going to take more time to sort it all out, and there isn't a total clear precedence to handle something like this either.
That was the news that came out. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was in 2021 that came out, right? The whole Dalvin Cook thing, end of 2021 season.
Yeah, like in November, I think it was October, November of last year.
Just taking pits. Fuck. Yeah.
That's probably where I'm going, I think, here.
Travi, I'm feeling our league of record right here and how it kind of normally goes. And I was just fucking loving the start of this build, really hoping Terry McLaurin rounded out around to get DK and Terry there to pair with Aaron Jones and Najee, which I thought would have been so nice, but it's gone. And this is kind of where I always find myself in these standard type leagues, is where I'm not looking to take a quarterback or a tight end, but then I get these like question mark running backs, these wide receivers that I like, but I don't love. And I feel like I'm going a little early on them. And then those tight ends or quarterbacks, if an elite one is there, is what I end up kind of usually looking at. I think I would have just rather pivoted to Pitts instead of Mahomes here, but I think that's kind of the route.
It's kind of in the same. It's kind of the same situation though. You're basically taking the onesie position because you have questions at the twosie position, right? You're like, hey, I don't know. So you went with Mahomes instead of maybe, I think it's kind of the same thing. If you've gone with Pitts here, you're trying to get the positional advantage at one of them.
Yeah,
maybe in Tolton where it is 6-point touchdown. That's something you could actually like make a case for, that Mahomes was the better play there. But I think. Yeah, Anthony, what's going on?
What up, man?
Everybody, it's a cool background he's got there. What's he like?
Ooh, that's kind of like Tron.
Yeah,
that's fancy.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony, for stopping by. And if you guys like what you're seeing, you love fantasy football, want to keep mocking with us throughout the rest of the show, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, help us grow the channel.
And
awesome.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, man, I come to that situation way too far. I'm drafting and I have the rule of like, okay, I like to just get my running backs, wide receivers. I like to go with them a lot. Even in best ball, this happens to me. And I'm like, I just don't like anybody right here. And I end up going to the quarterback position or a tight end position. Like, which one of those, or is one of them fading? And likely is the case. And I'm just like, okay, I call myself the sucker when it happens because I feel like a sucker, but I have to do it.
I don't think you are. I think you're the opposite of a sucker. I think you're a blower. I think that it is.
Oh, fuck. That was great.
It's like the epitome of value-based drafting, though, right? Like, you gotta love it. Like,
the blowfish is here.
Dude, that was awesome.
But you get to that spot, you're like, dude, I like Pittman. I do. I like DJ Moore. I like Cortland Sutton. But I don't think any of these guys are really going to be the number one at their position. Patrick Mahomes can legitimately be the number one at his position. And I feel like it's kind of a smart stab, given there's going to be other wide receivers further down that are going to provide you with enormous ceiling. And yeah, you're going to get some quarterbacks too, but you're just not going to get a quarterback that has the same ceiling. And I'm glad that we've seen more data come out on quarterbacks recently. Like, yes, you can stream quarterbacks, but it does have a fall off. And like, there's certain levels you're going to have a really tough time getting to unless you draft a guy who's capable of that.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Dude.
I think there's value too when you can, if you're gonna fade the QB position, maybe not too far, but like there's a couple guys in the 10 to 14 area that you could grab two of them probably at that point and just kind of see which one pans out.
Which one's kind of stand out to you the most?
In the 10 to 14, it's typically like, actually maybe a little bit further in 10-14, but Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins have been standing out a ton for me.
Yeah.
I've recently, and I hate myself for this, I've been recently becoming a Trey Lance guy. He's not too crazy on my ranks. He's 13 right now, but like I've been taking in a lot of sort of opinions on him, and then you kind of stat him out in what you believe is his floor, and it still puts him high because of the rushing.
Yeah.
So it's just the confidence if he starts 17 games, right? Like, do we believe that is happening? And then this Jimmy G news coming out, and it's just like, now it's seeming more and more real.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I love that we got Trey Lance in the universe. Like, I love that we've got people. I love that he's here. It's a hot, spicy, flavorful pick to make. And like, I'm trying to get there. I've taken him in a few drafts, but I just am not yet sold that he's not going to be the Justin Fields of this year.
Yeah.
Like, if Jimmy Garoppolo was gone, that makes it a lot cleaner. But Andy Dalton was leading the way for the Bears, and Justin Fields was the high upside guy. Jimmy Garoppolo's been leading the team. Trey Lance is the high upside guy. I'm coming around. Maybe
the Nagy versus Shanahan is the only response I could really even say to that. Like Shanahan and
right
Rob Norton, good friend of mine, always kind of says it in this way. Shanahan insulates his QB position. Like he will be just in a bubble of safety in a sense, as long as he's a starter. And that's where I put more of my trust in over than Trey.
This has been developing back and forth on our show, and that's kind of where I come from. Is like, even if we look away from fantasy, just as a regular quarterback, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, these guys have stepped in and done well in the offense because Shanahan is such a good play caller. He puts his players in such good position, and Matt Nagy is actually getting blamed for the opposite of that, for being a detriment to Allen Robinson, for being a detriment to Mitch Trubisky, for stunting the growth of Justin Fields. Austin, you talk about suppressors a lot, and it looks like Matt maybe was a suppressor as far as talent in Chicago. So that's the big difference for me.
I think he's a hider. I think Matt Nagy is like a guy who he's a suppressor. I think he's like clandestine is actually how I kind of see Matt Nagy. He'd kind of try to hide and obfuscate things and didn't really want you to know what's going on because
he knew his job was up for grabs. I don't think it makes total sense, but you could kind of get there rationally, right? You could be like, hey, I'm trying to maybe not have this rookie ruin my job security here. And then maybe if he does too well, they're like, well, Nagy, it's him, not you. See you later. We're going to get a good guy in here. So I think it was like, he was probably damned if you do, damned if you don't. And he knew that, and he was trying to hide a lot of things. And
that's what we were talking about last year. We're like, dude, he's playing stupid football to try to protect his job.
Yeah, bad. That's, again, the point on CMC I was trying to make, like with Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule's in a similar boat where he's just like, I'm trying to protect my job. I'll do whatever.
The thing working against him on that one, though, is if he starts doing that and the higher-ups get a little bit wise to it, and they're like, you're not going to fucking ruin our best piece right now. Yeah. Like, no. If they
counterpoint to that. I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear the Matt Rule is on the hot seat, which I think he is too. I don't actually think he's that great of a professional coach. And they're like, so CMC is likely going to get the ball a ton because he's trying to save his job, which I understand that point. But I wonder if he does get called out.
Like, I think the only way that it doesn't happen is if they do make an active push to trade CMC and they can't get anything better than a second-round pick. You know, if that's a Isaac or a third-round pick or whatever. And then if they're like, fine, we're not in on this, let's just go. Yeah. But I think otherwise I think it'd probably be wise to trade CMC if you're.
Well, especially when there were rumors that Houston was interested and was willing to deal some like high picks for CMC on the way back.
Houston was?
Yeah. And of course. Stupid. But I think the CMC one is just like, there's no incentive, especially at the running back position, for Carolina to not pound him into the ground, in my opinion, because what are they going to do? Like I guess because it's a huge contract, but like this is what we see it all the time with running backs. They're just going to use and abuse them.
If they go 3-0 or like 3-1 to start the year, then for sure. Like I could for sure see that happening. If they start off trash, like I don't know. What are you thinking here, Travis? 3,
I'm gonna
2,
go CH.
1.
This will be the second time. This will be the first time non-auto drafted, but the second time that I've drafted CEH tonight. And
I heard you draft CEH earlier tonight.
Yeah. I just I'm not proud of it, but I'm actually okay with it here. Third running back. I think there's some upside. I'm actually interested in all three of the backs at cost. CEH, Ronald Jones, and McKinnon. I think all at cost are decent stabs. Take a stab at all of them. The problem is Jones doesn't have the ceiling, in my opinion, of CEH or even McKinnon because he's not going to catch passes. Now, he could fall in for a ton of touchdowns, but, then you're looking at like LeGarrette Blount, which was fine that 1 year, but that's asking for a lot. You got to ask for like 12 to 16 touchdowns. So,
hey, some Treylon Burks love, Mario. I'm loving Treylon Burks. What do you think about him?
I think in a standard format, you can even make the argument that he should be a little bit higher here. I love Robert Woods as a player. I think he's had a great career, and especially when he was in LA. But I'm not feeling a 30-year-old coming off an ACL injury to kind of take over too much of the work here. So like Treylon Burks just going into an area where he should be. I've been trying to stay away from saying peppered with targets, but that's the truth. Like he should be getting the majority of the target share here, and the majority of a target share on a run first offense isn't a ton. So he's got to be dominant with the ball. So I think even within a standard, you kind of make an argument more for him.
Yeah, I hear that. I got to make this pick. I was hoping Cook was going to fall. He didn't.
Ronald's saying, I don't think Andy likes CH because he can't pass block. And that's a no-no to Andy. That's a good point. And he is bitter that they kind of put that draft cap. I do think that's a play here because obviously we know the story. Like Pat Mahomes banged the table for CEH, and now look at how it's worked out. But I do think that there's maybe a chance, like there's one more month or 2 to 4 more games of them trying to make CEH a thing. And then if it isn't, I mean, CEH's range of outcomes is scary because he could be benched really quickly. And then, that could be, you could be out. But I do think he's got a huge ceiling.
Dude, the roast and toast potential on CEH is so wide in either direction. Like if the gallbladder news was real and if he was actually able to muster out last year, even 500 yards on the ground and another 129 in the air at 160 pounds, if that's what he was listed at from the gallbladder situation, like that's actually impressive. And if he was able to pack back on that muscle, and then he also has that experience of playing so undersized and feeble, and he still did what he did, like that's a popped up year. Like he should be doing better there. But he also was the RB 38 in standard here. So like that's not good. And then they brought in Ronald Jones, and he, as you said, he could be gone. So he could be a non-rosterable player halfway through the year.
Not asking benched for who? I mean, Ronald Jones. That's who they brought in. That's more McKinnon. He was
in Gore
last year.
McKinnon had great playoff run.
I mean, that's what's possible for sure.
Dude,
Go
ahead, Mario.
I'm sorry, they ran that like fourth string running back. Is it Derek Gore?
Yeah,
Frank Gore.
exactly.
Yeah, Derek Gore. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Dude, he looked good for a time. I remember picking him up on a couple waivers. Like, oh crap, they got a nice little RB coming out of here, and he didn't amount to nothing. But like, I think he's ultimately going to get cut from this team. We don't talk about it, but I think he's gone. And then one more running back will end up being gone.
You'd stay just on this one here, rounding it out. Donnie's saying, imagine Chiefs with Jonathan Taylor. That's what I'd mock that year. That's what they should have done. And we've brought this story up, not in the last couple of months, but if you go back to that draft, Jonathan Taylor was the number 1 projected running back coming into the draft, but the Chiefs were on the clock and they turned to Patrick Mahomes and said, what do you think?
Yep.
And he went with his boy, CEH, who was still like a decently projected running back, but he wasn't Jonathan Taylor. And they went ahead and said, okay. And the Chiefs should have had Jonathan Taylor. Like, they really fucked 5 years of their trajectory up by that move. Like, damn.
Insane to think about. I remember the story that coming out that Patty had a say in this draft pick, and I would guess this is probably the last time they asked him about the draft. Yeah, maybe some wide receivers, but definitely not the running back room anymore.
Well, and it'll be interesting too, because I wonder if he did have input on the wide receivers, and we gotta we're excited about some of them because we want to try for fantasy, but this could be an epic fail for a off season. We see it all the time. People try to go pay guys or bring them in, and it doesn't work out. Like, so he could be 2 for 2 here if the wide receivers don't pan out too.
Did you have any tips on that, or is that just all speculation? Do you know if Mahomes did have any insight on the?
No,
okay.
I don't. It's definitely
MBS or Juju or Sky Moore or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, maybe Jackson Mahomes knew Juju on TikTok, or they collabed or something, and that had something to do with it. But I doubt. Who knows?
I don't think Patrick Mahomes likes any of that.
Tony Reimer, thanks for joining the chat. He says Chiefs could have had Taylor and Metcalf.
Oh my goodness.
Oof.
I don't know they were poking or like keeping an eye out for. Did they draft another wide receiver around?
Oh, Hartman was in that same draft, wasn't he?
Oh my God.
Was that 2019?
Is that right? I don't know. I'd have to get fact checked, but I think it might be right. It's the year that they were scared of Tyreek Hill's suspension, so they drafted Mecole Hardman. And I think they kind of reached, if I remember right. I mean, look at Mecole Hardman, but
I know they did reach up to try to fix what they thought, to replace what they thought was going to be Tyreek Hill dealing with a massive suspension. So they might have. I don't know. I need to check that out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
But to Ronald's point, everybody passed on Metcalf. He wasn't even a first rounder. That is true. Like, everybody did pass on him.
Everyone did, but he was also
before him.
That's true. We mentioned this on DK though earlier. Like, there was a lot of analysts, credentialed ones, who had Metcalf as their number 1 overall wide receiver prospect, ahead of AJ Brown, ahead of everybody else. Obviously, they didn't. That wasn't what was listened to, and Steve Keim took Andy Isabella ahead of him. The Pro Football Focus's number 1 overall graded wide receiver coming out of college. But obviously DK was that pick. So I hear that point, but it's like it could have happened.
anything can happen in the words of Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible.
They could have just had like a Golden State Warriors situation. Kansas City could have, you know what I mean? Where they could have just had so many of the best players like for a while. And they did it already.
I'd love to see if Green Bay or Kansas City were involved in any talks for DK, because like they both had dual picks, first and second rounders this year. And I didn't hear anything really heat up, and both kind of had the same strategy. We're just going to piecemeal wide receiver. Yep. So really what we're seeing is some teams pay for their wide receiver, and then these two teams that are pretty much always good kind of ship their wide receivers off. And so we're going to see kind of what strategy works out.
Dude, and I feel like we don't know yet. I feel like there is a total full-blown experiment in the NFL going on right now. Yeah,
this is the wide receiver, what was it, workhorse versus the wide receiver by committee.
Right.
It's like the same thing that they did with running backs, just now like the Kansas City Chiefs are just, there's just 4 guys there that are like very mid. Is that saying enough or saying too much? And then you got the same thing with like Jacksonville. They paid Zay Jones $24 million, dude. Like I'll never understand that contract. What he has this is his 7th year and he has 1,800 yards to his name. 24 million.
Are we going to say in like 6 years, like if we see some of these receivers not work? Well, I mean, has the receiver actually disappointed? Or I guess I'm just wondering, like, if this does follow the same trajectory of the running back, we used to have bell cows, then we had committees, and now we're saying don't even draft a running back. You know, you can manufacture that same production. Are we going to start to say in like 7 or 8 years, like, don't draft or pay a wide receiver? You can manufacture that through a bunch of bumps. Probably not.
Well, it's just funny because we're going to have the argument between Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. Now, obviously, the age is going to help the teams in this situation, you know, because it's highly unlikely that either of those guys are going to revive the numbers that they had on the other team. It's just like how this goes. But it's not without the realm of possibility that they could be like DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona, Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. And actually, Diggs was a little obviously younger than those guys when they went. But there is the path to like the greats being great when they go to change a team.
Yeah.
As opposed to your, you know, Christian Kirk or Kenny Golladay models that don't actually make it and do.
Hey, Trav, we got a new member. We got a new member here, Whisper Nation. Hey, what's everyone? This is about? Quick introduction. This is the mock draft marathon, the 4th annual mock draft marathon. We do 24 straight hours of mock drafting, bringing on industry analysts every single hour, getting fresh takes and 24 mock drafts. So we are just over halfway through. We started at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to finish at 10 a.m. Pacific time Sunday morning. And this is our 4th one we've done. Welcome to the show, Janice.
Yeah. Appreciate you being in here. And everybody else, drop that like, drop that subscribe if you're on the channel. And
let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah, you're feeling generous. You want to support a good cause. We're raising money for the Hayden Hurst Family Foundation. All that information to help us out is in the ticker below, but Venmo, the Fantasy Whispers, or donate on Super Chat. And a portion of all those proceeds going directly to the Hayden Hurst Family Foundation. You can find out more about that in our description. Great cause for what they're doing for mental health solutions for pretty much about everybody. Kids, adults, I mean, military. It's amazing what they're putting forward. Dak Prescott and Hayden Hurst linking up about their own issues. We've talked about it on the stream that, you know, look, I love Sigmund's point. Everybody's got trauma, and we're trying to work through it, and we're trying to do our best to kind of keep going. But fantasy football provides that area that we can kind of pour into something we love. We'd like to pour into other people finding something they love and something they can do, and solutions for the mental health industry, those in need of mental health, which is everyone. So
everyone, well said. Travis, here we're coming to the end of the draft. We got a couple rounds here left. How you feeling about your build, man?
Not so great.
No,
I would say I liked the top. I wish I would have kind of maybe waited on quarterback. If you look, Kyler Murray goes. I mean, I wouldn't have got my guy Jalen Hurts, but I probably could have invested in Russell Wilson and gone a little bit more wide receiver.
Who'd you take instead of Murray?
I probably would have gone like maybe a Mike Williams, Allen Robinson, guys I've been drafting quite a bit. But I don't mind getting Bateman later. I have the Mike Evans kind of anchor wide receiver approach going, so I don't hate it. I think there's huge upside in what I did here, especially with Murray, CMC, and Mike Evans. And then if Kamara's back, getting him in the second round could be really good. So I don't hate it, but I've liked a lot. Like, dude, I just liked this setup a whole lot better when Fournette, Jones, Barkley are falling to the end of the second. And neither of those guys did in this one. We're drafting with some sharps. And I think that honestly might be where it ends up at the end of August, is those guys are going to go there because, especially in our standard format, the running back position is already scarce in every format, but even more so in standard because the difference is so much bigger. So that's what we kind of suffered from here. I don't know. It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I feel that one here.
Mario, what about you, man? How about this build you've got rocking and rolling here?
I tried some new things. I could tell you that there's a couple guys on here that I haven't been drafting in best ball or been drafting a ton in mock drafts. But for standard, I think I like it. And I'm doing something weird at the end here that I'm not necessarily super big fan of. But like when we're talking about 6-point passing TDs, I have some upside for Kirk this year. So I wanted to make sure I kind of put some insurance to Dak, and it means not necessarily, obviously it's not his backup or anything, but like Dak's a good quarterback. I really am a big fan, but like, just in case, here's Kirk. I didn't like any of, and it goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Austin. I didn't like any of the RBs that were coming around there. And that's really where I would have went. I already have 5 wide receivers that I'm a big fan of. So like I was looking at RBs, I was like, there's maybe one more guy that I want to draft in the RB position, and it doesn't need to be now. So I went with a quarterback and another tight end to make sure that those positions are kind of insured and see if one of them pans out. Because even Dawson Knox was so high in his TD percentage that like, let me take another dart throw on the tight end position just in case that does regress like I kind of think it will. So
that's how it goes.
Kind of like mine. Yeah.
Let's see here. I want to take a look at here in the Mario. Like I love the Mixon and Lamb start, Montgomery, and then Dylan, Pittman, Burks. Yeah, I like this too.
Like Montgomery is a guy that was more efficient when Matt Nagy started giving where he gave up his play calling ability. And then we saw Montgomery come a little bit more alive last season. I kind of think he could be good, dude. Like I know largely up until this point, we haven't seen anything like special or eye-popping. He's been decent in fantasy for a couple years now outside of being hurt. But like, I think he could be good. I don't know if I would say elite, but like I think he could be a good RB2. Like I like to have him as my RB2.
Yeah, I'm warming up to the idea. I wasn't really in on it. I think that Khalil Herbert kind of come onto the scene. He's in the dead zone. Maybe the dead zone's not as crazy as we think, as it has been. But I like that Montgomery's good at breaking tackles, pretty decent at it. He's good at catching passes. And I think he'll probably be the goal line back. He's at least going to start. I think there's a world where they could turn to Herbert later, but I wouldn't bank on it.
Yeah, we said it before. Like
Herbert love.
There is a lot of Khalil Herbert. No, you're right. There's a lot of Khalil Herbert love on this one, and I think he's pretty good. I just don't think he's better than David Montgomery. I think this whole new regime, the coach, the front office, everybody they got over there it's going to be a meritocracy for the running back position. I think that Montgomery gets the first crack at it. I just don't think he lets it go. Similar to how Melvin Gordon got the first crack at it last year in Denver, and Javonte Williams is good, but Melvin Gordon just never let it go. I think
I love that you brought that up because I think Monty and Javonte Williams are very similar backs. Like we could see Javonte, like Javonte is one of my favorite backs, especially in Dynasty. Like I really enjoy getting him in a lot of leagues. I guess in redraft, there's probably a little bit more hesitation, but I could see them being similar backs and having similar careers. Like Monty hasn't done anything crazy, but like when you look at Javonte, there's a lot of hype behind him. We think that he's going to be this amazing back, but like his efficiency wasn't amazing last year, but he had a shit ton of broken tackles and everyone's like, he's elusive. This will result in efficiency. And I think it will too, but there's still that chance that it doesn't. And he just stays at a 4.4 yards per carry, 4.3 yards per carry.
Yeah. I can see that one too.
Yeah. I love that everybody in here sharing what they're dealing with mentally. Ronald talking about ADD. Janice talking about her social phobia. Calvin Brown talking about his anger issues, addiction. I love that our community-driven, people are out here sharing their pain and stuff and talking
realities.
about what's going on and we can all be better because of it. And yeah, Pizza Belly saying, look, if you're feeling down, just look at Austin's cleavage. Wowza. Wowawea. Deep V. Get him going. Love it. Scott says Javonte has shared the backfield since high school. That's true. Shared it with Michael Carter. He's sharing it with Melvin Gordon. But I do believe that Javonte Williams is somebody I do declare. I do declare that Javonte Williams is somebody. I do think that the broken tackles will equate to something that we've seen. When we watched his film, Austin, when he was coming out, what did I say? Kamara Light. He looked like a guy that bounced off tackles. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be that, but there's something to be said about
kids so far.
Yeah. So like, I'm hoping it comes through. Javonte's fun. That's what it comes down to. He's a lot of fun to root for.
I ended up taking him first, and I kind of cringed about this. So please do not judge me on this. But I took Javonte first in a Superflex Dynasty. I was pick 10. I want to say 8 of the 9 first picks were quarterbacks. Where there's going to be that little break. We're going to have to kind of start turning to the two RBs, and it was either Javonte or Najee there, and I went Javonte over Najee, and both of them. Like you said earlier, Big Trevi, I'm a huge fan of Najee, but like in Dynasty, there's just an upside about Javonte that just makes me super excited.
Najee's a little old too.
That's a weird one. Like people don't get that Najee's like 2 months younger than AJ Dillon, who's been in the league for how many years? Like he's 24. Antonio Gibson's 24. AJ Dillon is 24. Javonte Williams is 22. Breece Hall is 21. Like Najee Harris, I know he's just a second year back, but he did come in a little bit later. So keep that in mind.
That's pretty crazy too, because isn't Alexander Madison 23 this year? Maybe 24?
Ooh.
Pretty nuts, but like he's somebody that I think gets slept on in Dynasty a ton too, because if he finds another home, not that he's been the most efficient, but he can definitely handle like a good workload in the backfield.
Johnny's spoken on that too.
Yeah.
Like some of those that back could shake up a little bit. And they did just draft another guy here who could be that potential backup for Cook, and Madison could be gone. Yeah.
It's funny with that because like Calvin Ridley is another guy that got, I mean, obviously there's Velus Jones this year, but Calvin Ridley I think is like 6 months younger than Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper's on year 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah, Velus like 25. Right, yeah.
Velus, yeah.
It's like 33, I think.
Yeah, he's aging at a rapid
Who was that
pace.
quarterback? Who was that like 26-year-old rookie quarterback Cleveland took him?
Man, Brandon Weeden.
There he was. There he was.
The Browns history, I got you guys. If you guys ever need a call in, just send a message. I got you.
Oh, dude. Scott has been talking about Ben DiNucci in the chat for like weeks and weeks. I'm so glad he drafted him here. He's single-handedly making Ben DiNucci a thing. I'm also glad because I can handcuff CMC with Deonta Foreman, who I think is a pretty solid handcuff. I don't know if he'll be
DiNucci
one
get cut or practice squads last
He's on Dallas right here, so either Sleeper doesn't realize it, or let's see.
This is last year because like weren't they?
Remains with Dallas 6 months.
That was 6 months ago.
Signed a reserve future contract. Don't even know
6 months ago.
Could not even exist after 6 months.
Did he get cut?
I swear he's the guy on Hard Knocks that got cut, but I don't think it was Dallas last year. I can't remember who it was.
No, DiNucci was on. Was DiNucci on Dallas, or who was the guy on the Chargers? Wasn't that the guy the Arizona State guy that everybody, the quarterback? God, what was his name? Anyways, we're getting deep into the mock draft marathon. We're talking about third string quarterbacks that get cut, and yeah, it's awesome.
TCP, love you, man.
Appreciate
We'll see you later, man. Great to have it hit.
All right.
Yeah, baby.
So we are through another one here, working our way officially past halfway into hour 13. Our guy, Mario, here from Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. Talk a little bit about your build and how your team shook out, man.
Yeah, so it was standard. I wanted to go with a lot of guys that I think have let's go running back. I wanted to go guys that had stronger rushing upside than they do in the receiving work. Joe Mixon's the first person that comes to mind. David Montgomery is another one that is very much more a part of this rushing backfield rather than the receiving work. And AJ Dillon, he's the obvious and most easy one to think of that in that situation. So I got some guys that are heavy in the rushing, not so much in the receiving work, even though both could be relevant and standard. For wide receivers, dude, I love my wide receivers in this draft. I'm a big Michael Pittman guy. I'm a big CD Lamb guy. Treylon Burks, I think the volume could be there. And again, it's Tennessee. So what does that volume mean? It's probably not crazy. And then I think Ayuk and Lazard have some higher upside. Like Lazard is the wide receiver 1, technically. Although I think he does better in the slot. And then sneaky pick Alec Pierce.
You like Alec Pierce
to go with Michael Pittman there, even though I probably would never start both of them. With tight end, I drafted 2 because I'm not the biggest believer in Dawson Knox. Irv Smith is actually a guy that I just picked as a breakout player this year. I'm not calling for a top 5 year, but I think this is a year where he doesn't get drafted at tight end 14, 15 anymore. Dak Prescott. I loved Dak, but like there's some trust issues there from last season. I don't know if it was from his ankle. Like he didn't have a terrible season, but it wasn't what we all expected. So I kind of made sure to get another guy, Kirk Cousin, who will have a new head coach this year coming from LA. I'm expecting them to throw a ton. So I like my team. I don't know if I love it, but I like it.
Yeah, man. I don't think I see anything here that like I think this is a good build. I like this one here.
You guys could roast it. I'm ready for it. I'll take it.
Let me see. Sorry, I was trying to answer some chat stuff here. So let me get in here. I like. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention at all. Mario, I wasn't listening to you at all. Don't respect you. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. I like the running backs. I think Dylan's upside to get him as your 3rd running back, I think is really good. I'm in on Lamb and Pittman with you. I think that's really good. Dak Prescott. I think this was just a really good value draft that you put together. Yeah. I will say I've been in and out on Knox. I can't figure out where's the right spot for him. But Matt Waldman, shout out to Matt Waldman, Football Guys, rookie scouting profile. That guy just knows football. And he said, if you're in on Gabe Davis, you kind of have to be in on Dawson Knox because Dawson Knox is a guy that catches the hard targets down the middle of the field for Josh Allen. Like he is a target down the middle of the field when it's the toughest. So you got your Boundary and Diggs, and then you have your trusty sidekick in Knox. And I think that Knox is maybe getting not as much shade. Maybe he's just being discounted as a touchdown only guy and can actually do a little bit more. We talked about this a little bit, Austin, where it's like, maybe we're wrong on Gabe Davis and pushing this up. Maybe there's other guys around, or maybe they'll all eat into each other. We don't really know yet. And that's why I'm kind of more in on Diggs than anything. But I think Knox you could make a case for. I'm not really that in on Lazard, but I could be. And Ayuk is, speaking of Davis, Ayuk's reception perception is much better than Gabe Davis. And everybody's in on Gabe Davis, but we're concerned about Trey Lance, and Brandon Ayuk is a guy that people are sleeping on. So I think something to look at here.
Brandon Ayuk's situation's weird, dude. Like I love Brandon Ayuk's rookie season.
If Debo wasn't such a dog or got traded, like Brandon Ayuk would be steamed up.
It's like his relationship with Kyle Shanahan, like his weird doghouse shit. And like the only report out of the OTAs was like Brandon Ayuk he's not doing that great. And it was weird. It wasn't like he's doing it. It was like, it was in more of this like Kyle Shanahan kind of thing of where like you're doing okay, but you're not doing it the way I want you to do it. Is kind of the vibe that I pulled from it. I'm like, well, that can really hurt him. It hurt him in the beginning of the season.
It sure did. And this is PPR, so sorry, but he did weeks 9 through 18, second half of the season, he was wide receiver 15. I mean, like there's a lot of value getting him at that mark, but again, we don't know what to expect with Trey Lance and what Debo's doing and everything like that.
All right, so Mario, another thing we've been doing is roast or toast. Also, I'm going to let you take a look at some of these squads, but Mario, be on the lookout for a team you'd rather roast or toast before we get you out of here.
You know, the one that I couldn't get away from here, Mr. Masik's, I did like this. I think he had the best idea when it came to the standard format on this one. Chubb, Fournette, Connor. Like if these guys stay healthy, you're just ground and pound, and you're getting a lot of yards, you're getting a lot of touchdowns. And for standard formats, that's really valuable. AJ Brown could be a main vein for this offense. I know we all want him to be. Gabe Davis has really high upside. Tony has high upside. The floor is low for all of these guys as well. So when I look a little bit closer on the toast gets a little shorter, but I still like the way you built it. I play for upside, and you got Jalen Hurts at the quarterbacking position, Zach Ertz at the tight end position. I think they bring upside. And I think the rest of the picks, like you might not love Tony, you might not love Patrick, you might not love Gabe Davis, but it's hard to deny they bring a lot of upside to the table. And going along with what I think is a solid selection of running backs, I like the squad.
All right, Mario, you're up here, man.
Yeah, so like outside of our three teams, I think my toast is to Brokow. I really like what he did with his wide receiver room. We got Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, and Allen Robinson. Like that's stacked. His running back is the knock here because Austin Eckler, great running back, does a lot of his damage in the receiving game. Again, yardage still counts there, and put up 20 TDs last year. We're all expecting a little bit of a regression. And then Kareem Hunt, and I think is kind of being slept on. So like I like the Kareem Hunt there. I think that has huge upside. It's even more if something happened to Nick Chubb. Russell Wilson, I think it's all a gamble, but I think we're all expecting to see this unleashed Russ out there. And then your tight end one at TJ Hawkinson and getting him in the 8th, I think is the value play here. Like that's kind of a fall for him. And in standard, he could be a guy that Jared Goff looks to in the end zone a lot for this team. I like him more in standard than I do in PPR. So I really like this team. Stealing KJ Osborne at the end is icing on the cake.
Like the Osborne late pick. It's definitely good. Well, Mario, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for hopping on here and getting us through our 13. My man, tell the people what you are working on and where they can find you, my man.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. First off, thank you so much for having me. Had a blast with you guys. You guys do amazing work. So thank you. Said it a million times. I'll keep saying it. But we do have, you can find us on Twitter at DadBodFS. We are doing a special show August 10th. So that's our main focus right now. We're going to kind of do our Dad Bod Squad episode. We're going to have some big names on there, some clips of some of our other favorites to get on there. So it'll be a good episode of a lot of information. But on our Twitter, we have our link tree. So we're writing articles or posting videos, and our shows are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So check us out. Appreciate the love, boys. And I had a blast tonight, man.
We had a blast with you, Mario, man. It was so much fun, dude. I appreciate you coming on here. We will talk soon, and we will be collabing again in the future, my man. Appreciate you.
Can't wait, boys. Thank you.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Peace. Thanks, Mario. All right, Austin, we're going to be rocking and rolling with one of our favorites again next hour in the Fantasy Football Couch. But before we do,
great.
We are going to hit Whisper Nation with a little bit of a break here. We've got a Stephanie Smalls clip, so roll the clip. Appreciate you being on here, Steph. You're an inspiration to us, and we love having you on here. But we want to help Whisper Nation get to know you a little bit better here. So we've got some rapid-fire questions. It's, one-word answer. Just get through these here. We're going to rock through them. So you ready? Cool.
Yes, got it. Okay.
Do you root for your NFL team or your fantasy team more?
I'm a Giants fan.
That's all that needs to be said there.
No said.
What year did you start playing fantasy football?
I tried to figure it out today. I think it was about 2008 or 9. I was like sneaking on and playing with random leagues behind my parents' back.
Favorite fantasy football player of all time?
Adrian Peterson.
Least favorite player of all time?
Evan Ingram.
Favorite fantasy football team name?
Eddie Lacy DM me.
What is a sound or noise that you love?
Opening a high noon.
Nice. Crack it open. Favorite swear word?
Fuck.
That's too good. Yeah.
Stop.
What are the most leagues you have played in at one time?
Like 34.
Damn. Most exciting fantasy football moment for you?
Oh gosh, winning last year without a QB at all somehow because of my team. It was insane.
You grinded that one out. I like it. I like it.
Which is probably luck.
Favorite game day beverage? I think we already got a clue on this.
Yeah, it depends what the mood is. I could do anything. Probably still high noon though. Seltzers of some sort.
Versatile. Boneless or bone in?
Bone in.
When you rank your players, do you prefer to ask the experts or trust your gut?
Gut.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, this is a specially tailored question, but I'm actually going to ask Johnny and Austin first and see what their response is. This is actually Steph's question, but for you guys, and then we'll finish with Steph here. So out of the current NFL players, Austin, we'll start with you. Who comes to mind when I say dad, daddy, and father?
Dad, daddy, and father for NFL players. I'm going pure kicker edition on this one, Travis.
I love
Dad,
different.
Dad, Rodrigo Blankenship. Daddy, Evan McPherson. Father, Justin Tucker.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think you could swap McPherson and Rodrigo, but I dig it. Both of them are awesome. All right, Johnny, you're up. Dad, daddy, father.
Okay, I'm not gonna go with kickers because, like, when I think of a dad, daddy, or father, I instantly think of a quarterback. So mine would be a dad would be Daniel Jones. I'll go with the Giants, but he is a dad. Like that, that's like
The
given.
khakis, baby.
Yeah, daddy now is like, someone that's got a little bit more suave, gets it, That would have to be Aaron Rodgers, right? Got to be Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that guy
He thinks he is.
Hey, he could sell catalytic converters, or he can win Super Bowls. You never know. Hey, and then the last I'll say is for the father, I'd have to go with Derek Carr here. Derek Carr gives me father vibes right there, so that would be mine.
Peace be with you, and also with you.
Hey.
All right, Smalls, you're up here. This is your question. Bring us home.
Oh gosh, dad, daddy, father. I'm gonna do a Vikings edition because they have been on my mind a lot lately. So Justin Jefferson is just straight up my dad. Like that is my dad. He's going to be my dad. He should be everyone's dad. He is going to have a phenomenal season, and I can't wait for it. My father is Kirk Cousins for sure. A guy,
definitely.
and I'm sure at some point it will come up because of my Kirk Cousins love that I don't know how much love it is, but yes, I okay, whatever. What am I missing? So I did father, I did daddy, or I did dad.
Yeah.
I need daddy. Oh, well, I'll go spicy. I'll go with my buy low candidate right now, and Alexander Madison, because I'm trying to get some word out about this guy. So he's my daddy this year. I think this is going to be the last year you'll be able to get this guy cheap.
Yeah, it might be his last daddy year priced in. Then he's going to go full dad after this.
Exactly. Yeah, there's levels to this shit, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. That's right. Back for another hour and back for another mock draft. We are rocking and rolling here. Austin and I keeping it going through Johnny's break, and we're about to bring on one of our favorites, man. Just an authentic, awesome dude. Found him a couple years ago on Instagram, and this guy is just rocking and rolling and doing all the great work. Our man, Fantasy Couch. What's going on, Couch? How are you, brother?
My nipples are hard. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah,
let's go,
dude.
baby.
Yes. Yes. We couldn't do it without hard nipples. You got to keep Band-Aids on them, but we couldn't do it without them. Don't want them to chafe. Couch, what's got those nipples so jacked tonight, dude?
I'm running a social experiment.
Okay.
All right. So this is going to be like a little me time right now for like 30 seconds.
Please do.
I'm doing a high stakes dynasty league right now. Right. I've organized a military group of fantasy football fanatics. My top followers, I call them the couch captains. So I joined a high stakes dynasty league, and I'm letting these guys draft the picks for me. And it's insane. Lots of arguing, lots of camaraderie. It's all teamwork. Because every time we do fantasy football, it's just you on the team. Every now and then you got one guy co-managing the team for you. But we're doing this 10 guys together, and it's high stakes dynasty, $1,500 first place prize. Let's go, Couch fam. Let's win this.
Whoa, so you got 10 guys making the selections for one team.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Dude, that's like you're capturing all the energy of being a commissioner and trying to wrangle all your league mates together and get them to make one decision on stuff. And like now you're like doing that, but as with stakes are a little bit higher, as you said, high stakes, and they're making picks for you. Man, it's got to be a lot of fun, but also pretty interesting.
It's like that. It's more like an actual NFL front office. Now I'm thinking like, God, these guys must argue so much. Like, we don't want Wendell Robinson. He's my guy, damn it. We're taking him. We're bringing him to the Big Apple. I don't care what it takes. Round 2, we're drafting him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, of course they are, right? Like, you've been in a fantasy league where everybody's pretty like-minded, and the debates are still rigorous, man.
Those front offices must have those arguments. We don't even see them.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like draft day where they're bringing up like divorces and dead family members just to like try
It's
and
definitely gotten there, dude.
So that movie's a lot of BS, a lot of stupid things, but actually there are some really, really important, like realistic parts of that movie. Because I know some players on the Browns back in the day, and rumor has it the owner just was like, I'm drafting Johnny Manziel. And nobody in the front office wanted him. That's what the players told me. And it makes sense. That's what happened. And it's just like draft day. It's the Browns, and the owner wants to draft what's his name? Bo
Callahan.
Bo Callahan. That's right.
Yeah.
And then I think it's not as big. That's like kind of known, the Johnny Manziel thing. But I think there's also a rumor that Dan Snyder did the same thing with Dwayne Haskins. Let's bring in the hometown kid. And I don't think the front office wanted him.
No.
Well, and like even in the Browns right now, the new GM, it's a lot of people are saying they didn't want Watson, but the owner wanted Deshaun Watson, and so they got back in on Deshaun Watson.
The Browns again? They come back to the story that fast. That makes sense.
Too. Yeah, man.
It's the Browns.
Well, we are mocking with you. We got some people in the chat loving to be mocking with you as well. We love it, bringing you back. Anthony giving you big love. That couch fam. He says, drafting with the couch. No way. Love watching your live drafts, man. Part of what made me want to start a channel, man. Honored.
Awesome.
So
Thank you,
this is amazing. This is why we do this thing, to bring the community together. So we are doing a 12-team PPR super flex with your couch here. And without further ado, if you guys are ready, I'm going to get this thing started. Whoop.
I chose draft pick 6 because I think the middle rounds is the hardest.
Okay. And is that true regardless of format? In this Superflex 2, right, one quarterback?
Overall, yes, and I think this year, yes. What's the? Are we doing Superflex?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't know what that is. Just
two
kidding.
quarterbacks.
Nah,
I don't want to be rude.
I've done the Superflex. Yeah,
but this guy's what the fuck? Yeah,
I've done a few videos like, guys, Superflex. It's trend. Like, this is the direction it's going. So just 12 teams Superflex, 3 wide receivers.
PPR, yeah. It is. Let me just double check. We're doing a ton of them. 3 wide receivers.
Love those sound effects.
they're the best, dude. And
that
run on QB was real couch right before you.
I love Joe Burrow, but I'm gonna punt quarterback. I don't think it's as necessary. This is redraft, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I'll go JT. Very safe pick.
You're one of the first analysts we've had come up and pass on a quarterback first round in a super flex. I appreciate that. I think you can find some success with it. It's what I've been doing throughout. I've had some good ones, some not so good ones. Do you find yourself taking a quarterback in the second round, or are you saying, nah, man, we're going to let this thing ride, see what we get later on?
I mean, you gotta attack it, and you can't wait too long. But I mean, there's not one way to skin a cat. And so for me, right there, I love Joe Burrow, and it was a serious debate. But I think JT is he's such a good lock, just such a safe player. And I think I can find value in the later rounds. When I say later, it might have to be round 3, maybe even round 2, because the quarterbacks do fly off the shelf in Superflex.
We just did a 14-team Superflex best ball, and the quarterbacks were so thin, I took Drew Brees at one point, just in case.
Yeah, that's my rules. Once it's over 12 team, I just stick to 1 QB because it gets a bit messy. And I say, look, if you have to do a 10-team league, definitely make it Superflex, and it'll make the league like 10 times better.
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting some pushback on Scott's people in the chat with Superflex. We've mixed a lot in because obviously we're doing 24 of these things continuously. We got to mix some new stuff in. But Scott really hounding on us for the Superflex. But I think that's a good point. Like the dichotomy between 10 and then 14 at the Superflex is a good point. Like I don't want to be playing in 10-team leagues, but maybe a super flex makes it a little bit more interesting. I don't really want to be playing in 14-team leagues, but maybe a 1 quarterback makes that interesting. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of the trade-off you have there at the QB position, because there's definitely a cliff.
Oh yeah, we hit that cliff last round.
Yeah, we did.
So real. I'm going with a dual quarterback rounds 1 and 2. I haven't done this the entire time, Travis. I haven't done this in a single super flex.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, we've done super flex mocks on the channel, and I don't know if I've seen you do it, but
I don't like doing it at all. I love the value you can get up, and I'm just one to enjoy the hunt further on down. I think there's a lot of juicy guys.
So when you say high stakes, Couch, for that 10-team militaristic style community draft you got rolling on, what's the stakes? What's the money?
$250 buy-in and then $150 deposit for next year in case you quit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not super high stakes, but anything over 100 I'd consider pretty serious.
Like, you're playing for reals.
Yeah, it's for, because it's like when you're in a $10 league, you might see like some really dumb stuff here and there. $30 league, you might see some really dumb stuff. But when it's 250 and you have to put in 400 to get in, it's like people just don't like throwing away their money. Like, it gets a little bit more serious. Yeah.
What is the craziest league you've ever played in, or like the different stakes, or just something that had people really leaning forward when they were drafted, really wanting to stick it as well as they could?
Well, this is it. It's this team, because we have a Discord, we have voice calls, we have votes, like we have debates, we have scouts, we look at other teams, we bring up, like, it's a whole.
Is it a long draft?
Office slow draft. So that's how we're able to actually vote on every single pick. We made like 12 trades already. So like the messages we send and all that, like, we're coming up with, how to negotiate. It's a lot of work, and it's not like in redraft, it's much more simple. In Dynasty, there's so many different ways you can go. So that's the most intense league, is the one we're doing right now on a slow draft. Yeah.
And is it, you guys got 10 guys for your one spot. Is every spot got like 10 guys going for it?
No, it's just because you can't find 11 schmucks to join you for $250. You know what I mean? Like, you can't find that. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to do it for free or for $50, but for $250, the excuses start rolling in. Like, you can't get that many people. No, it's a public site. It's like kind of like the World Series of Poker. It's that type of site. So like, people are there to play high stakes. And no, we don't know anybody there. They don't know who they're dealing with.
That's cool.
Well, I wanted Derek Carr here.
Yeah, that QB run, it happened. But I see you went Derrick Henry there, 2.7. You just felt like you couldn't pass up on Henry's value there.
I mean, there's not a huge tier drop off, so I knew that would be there. I just wanted to try it, and it didn't work. It didn't work. I'll admit it right now. Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's a mock draft. It didn't work. I wanted Derek Carr. Now Derek Carr is not there. I'm totally screwed at quarterback. Because I could have got Joe Mixon here, even Swift. But I'm a huge Derrick Henry fan, so I wanted to try it out. I would have took Rodgers instead of Henry, by the way.
Yeah, that's who I snagged as my second quarterback here to pair with Josh.
Travis, I like the build that you've gotten started here now with Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Saquon Barkley. If you like Saquon Barkley, man, this has got a lot of ceiling.
Yeah, it's a great start.
Yeah, I think in PPR, I think it's worth the risk to go with Barkley there. Just think that the new offense, they can't be worse. Maybe they'll be the same, but I gotta think they're gonna be better. And then I think the ability. Saquon's still the best player on their team. Like, they're going to have to use him in that manner. You just got to be on the field. And I think some of the stuff last year was fluky. He's still only 25 years old. I can't bang the drum hard enough for Barkley. I haven't got a lot of him because a lot of people have been taking him pretty early. In this Superflex, he got pushed down a little bit. So that was nice.
Going to be at the okay, here we go. There's some juice. Travis, and I've told you I haven't taken I haven't taken a lot of quarterbacks early in these super flexes. It feels all right to have it gotten out of the way.
But you're also pairing that strategy. We heard a lot tonight of the 12 spot. So you're doing the 12 spot in the super flex, where a lot of people are liking, Smitty. Had Smitty on, and he was really in love with that 12 spot. Said it's pretty impossible to build a team that you hate from the 12 spot this year, which I thought was really unique. And he said, years of doing this, I've always enjoyed that number one pick. This year was the first time that I'm loving the end on the other side. So,
but Kamara, why'd you take Kamara?
Why not?
We could get suspended 6 games.
He could. No, we were just talking about this. We had Drew Davenport on the show last week, who's been a criminal defense attorney for the last 21 years, and we talked to him about Deshaun Watson, Dalvin Cook, and Alvin Kamara. And Alvin Kamara's case has dealt with 2 legal moves that have extended the timeline. The first one was when the plaintiff entered the video into evidence. That was done like just a couple of days before a hearing was coming up. So Kamara's team was like, whoa, we got to have some extended time to take a look at this. And that was totally fair and valid, and that time was granted. Now his defense team is asking for a work continuance, which, regardless if you're an NFL player or you're working at Chili's, it's usually granted for you. And that timeline is most likely going to go past this NFL season. And the NFL has been demonstrating more alignment with the legal outcomes versus what we saw Roger Goodell do in the last couple of years, is just kind of like flying on his own accord. So it's based on Drew Davenport's points he made. It's more likely than not that he doesn't hit a suspension this season. It totally could happen, but there's a lot of evidence suggesting it won't, and that is a bit counter to the narrative, and that's letting me get Alvin Kamara in the 4th round.
He could get suspended at the end of the season too, right? That could, it could be in the middle, not just because it's usually the first 6 games.
No doubt.
What most people think.
I'll tell you this, in my favorite league, in my home league, my league of record, whatever, I wouldn't have taken Kamara right there. I would have gone Aaron Jones instead. I just wouldn't want to deal with that stress all season. I wouldn't want to deal with that. But right now, I'll be like, yeah, give me an elite running back to go along with what I think Mike Evans has a chance to repeat as the number 1 wide receiver. So, like, I think it's a sexy ceiling play right now, but I would probably think a little bit harder about it in my hometown league.
I just prefer Aaron Jones is all like that.
Just overall.
Yeah.
I
I
took
mean,
if I
knew Kamara wasn't going to, if he didn't have a fight in Vegas, then that's different. I'm talking about because he did have a fight in Vegas, and a 6-game suspension is probably looming at some point.
It is.
Yeah, you're just hoping to kick the can down the road. And Scott making a good point. Like, it's a felony. NFL will put him on the paid leave. They could do that. We talked with Drew about that, and he said if they were going to do that, that likely would have happened based on some of the evidence that they've seen and the case that they know. And based on what he's seen, he doesn't think that that's likely. So
I actually never heard that paid leave for.
Well, it's the commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah, they do that. They do that when you're like close to Ray Rice.
Right.
Usually is that crap move.
Yeah. We got to make up. Yeah.
This is bad. What Kamara did is bad, but it's not like, let's protest and throw stuff type of bad.
He beat up a dude. He didn't beat up a kid or a woman. And that's just going to have a major different public outcome.
Yeah. Now the guy I drafted, that is more.
Now, okay, we want to talk.
Yeah. Why'd you do that?
It's just a mock draft. I'm just trying stuff out, and it's still round. It's still round 5. The night's young, boys. I mean, the night's late, but the night's young for me.
Yeah, the night is young for you and your hard nipples.
Yeah, we're going. Like, I mean, it's not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah. I feel it. I just thought it was funny. You're like, why'd you pick Kamara and then Watson right after? That was beautiful.
I know. I calculated that before I finished my sentence, and I clicked that. I know. No, it's just and nothing wrong with. I would prefer like Aaron Jones. Like no doubt Aaron Jones. That's really the only thing.
Right. We talk about those like tier breaks, right? Like Aaron Jones and Kamara, like maybe like one ahead of the other, but only one of them is looking at a 6-game suspension, right? So it's like you got to take Aaron Jones ahead of Alvin Kamara. If you don't, it's just like you don't know what's going on then. I'm trying to play the game as I know more than what's going on this one. But yeah, if you're really stacking these up and there's a potential to miss so much time, it's Aaron Jones. And it's not even a question. That's not even a preference. That's just like math.
Dang, Daniel Jones is one of my sleepers, especially in Superflex and deep leagues. and he went pretty surprised. This is my couch captain, you jerk.
Dude, there's
Team 4. What are you doing? Get out of here, Danny.
Football Ninja came in just to
Oh
snipe
my
you. Man.
God,
get out of here, Danny.
Fan. What are you, bro? This man, I swear he's doing 3 drafts right now, including this one. Daniel. I wouldn't have took Daniel Jones there. I'm just saying I'm surprised he went that early. There's only about a 1.5% of people are Daniel Jones truthers, including me. I just think he's got good upside. He actually has half a chance to succeed this year. And I think he's a sleeper. I'm all about the price. I like guys at a price.
Yeah, rushing upside. He's at least got, I mean, he's not Josh Allen, but he's got tools that Dable used with Josh Allen that could bring out a lot in his game. The deep ball, the aggressive downfield, and the rushing ability. As Sigmund Bloom was pointing out earlier, he's actually technically faster than Josh Allen. So you got that.
His ceiling points are really strong last season. I mean, in week 2, he ran for 95 yards and a touchdown. And in week 4, he threw for over 400 yards. Like, now he didn't do either one of those things a second time that season, but he did it. And doing it once shows you can. And I'm with you guys on this.
And I'm also all about, I really am into the psychology and reading the draft board. And so, like, I look at guys, right? I look at the nicknames and stuff. And so, I don't know if you guys cuss on here, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Hopefully I don't say anything bad, but like people call Deshaun Watson a rapist often, right? So like that's a nickname, that's a connotation. Like I get to see how people view that guy. Daniel Jones, they often think of him as the guy who fell. He dove forward. Yeah. So people post that meme, right? That's the first thing they post. I mean, Sam Darnold, he's not really draftable, but he's way beyond, like he's got the most negative thing. Like Jameis Winston, they make fun of him a lot, but not that much. Like he's still kind of like you still see people drafting him. So like I'm all about like this public perception and this hype. Like I really study that. Like where can I get deals? Like how many people post these memes?
Like a questionable like character, like Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson, but like that doesn't impact their football output. But it happens in the NFL draft all the time.
I'm saying though, not Jameis per se though, because right now not a lot of people like the first reaction isn't to post a meme. Like if I were to talk to my buddy about Daniel Jones, maybe the first response I'll get is him falling in a GIF. You see, I'm talking about like Jameis has enough truthers out there. There's other players I can't really think off the top of my head, but people just automatically like talk crap.
Like Leonard Fournette maybe right now with the Fat Lenny stuff.
Right now.
Yeah. Or like every offseason when he's done it. But yeah, like right now for specific capturing some of that, maybe buying the dip essentially on these players. But yeah, I think that's an interesting take there. It's
like a day trader approach to the fantasy football world of like, we've got guys like, we've got Riverboat Ron making the Thunder and Lightning comments about Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. And you're like, well, nope, I think that's all just hogwash. So get the dip on Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, I'm talking about a little bit more like stronger though. Like there's some more examples. I can't think on the top of my head, but Daniel Jones was a good one. Like he drops way more. Like people that just get made fun of like all the time, and those people fall a lot. Paris Campbell, that one. Oh, he's gonna get you 0 points. He never could stay healthy. I love drafting him around 16. I never drafted him before. I never liked him, but now that people are thinking like I'm going to go this way and I'm going to draft Paris Campbell around 16. I love drafting players that I can drop because having that roster space is important. The one of the ways you lose is having those players that you can't drop.
They don't do anything for you.
Don't do anything. Yeah. Paris Campbell, I will drop in 0.01 seconds and I won't even shed a crocodile tear.
He's either awesome or he's not.
If he's the number 2 wide receiver for Matt Ryan,
and showing that speed,
I'm in. And if he gets hurt, I'm out. I've already dropped him before you can respond. Like guys like that. So yeah, that's a guy with negative connotation for sure. Paris Campbell, and I've done that. I've done it with Devontae Parker his first year. I mean, I got ridiculed.
It's like guys that it's fun to dunk on.
Exactly. That's one way to put. Yeah.
I think I want to test your theory a little bit with Sammy Watkins, who's in Green Bay now and is a guy that everybody's like, hey, week 1, he'll get you these points, but then you'll never use him again. Would that be somebody you'd be interested in?
Or do you
Yeah.
agree with
Now
everybody?
the serious take on no, definitely. I love Sammy. I love drafting him around 13. But the serious take is he seemed to decline the last 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
On top of all the making fun of him, and yeah, he gets hurt, and he's gonna get hurt, and he'll win you week 1. Ha ha.
Doesn't care about football. Yeah.
Seemed to have declined a lot.
Yeah.
So that is a serious. Like he might just suck.
Yeah.
So,
For
but
sure. But like a
around
lot of these
13?
guys might just suck too, though.
but
Like Daniel Jones might just suck.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing with Daniel Jones is we're talking super flex, and he's a valuable guy. Sammy Watkins is wide receiver 7. So
Absolutely.
no, it definitely. It means it is the same thing, but no one cares about Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you are still taking Daniel Jones as like he might be your 2 or 3 quarterback, but like you're expecting him to do something. You're not expecting Watkins to do it. You're just maybe he does. Cool.
I'll go with. Oh, that's a tough decision here. There's a lot of good wide receivers. There's a lot of good ones.
I almost took Cooks over there at 7-1, but Kittle's staring me in the 7th round, like just the upside.
Oh yeah, he fell like
Bro, I fucking love
tremendously.
Kittle. If you can get Kittle late and you don't have to pay a price for him, I talk about tight ends. Like most of them get the jag tag. Most of them are just another tight end in that spot. Most of them aren't going to be a problem for you, but they're not going to be your answer. There's a very few amount of answers at the tight end position. George Kittle is one. And when I say an answer, I mean somebody who can bail you out of a tough situation. Hey, maybe your RB2 and wide receiver 2 don't show up. Oh, but you got a tight end who came in and got you 21 points. Like that's going to cover a lot of ground. Like George Kittle can just do that for you anytime. And it's not even, it's like who brought up somebody talked today about Mark Andrews gets so many of his points from catching passes that are within the system. George Kittle catches passes that he shouldn't have caught and then jumps over somebody and stiff arms another guy to run in for a 25, 50-yard touchdown, whatever. So like, I just love what he can bring to the table. I got to make a pick now.
I'm a Niner fan and I don't like George Kittle.
Why?
In fantasy. What? Yeah, but at that price, I love him. I was looking at him. At that price, I love it. It's round 7. Like he gets hurt every year. He's the best tight end in real life, but he's used as a blocker a lot. This is a running team, and he's going to have a lot of up and down weeks. I'm more of a value guy at tight end this year and getting a better team roster build. But round 7 though is amazing. I think round 6 would be a fine pick for him.
Well, him and Walker got like pushed down. So yeah, I was happy to snag him up there. And I'm just like sitting there like, well, I love Dalton Schultz. I think
I should have took him at 706.
I'm with you on the volume of Schultz over Kittle in most redraft situations. But I think where Kittle was going here to get him in the same round as Schultz kind of
You said volume. Did you mean value? Or you meant volume?
Well, I mean Dalton Schultz's volume over Kittle.
Yeah. Well, I like him for his value.
You
can usually get him 2 rounds later, but not in this mock though.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying I think Schultz is actually a safer play than Kittle this year. And I think because of all the vacated targets in Dallas, and we don't actually know if Trey Lance is going to be able to get it to Kittle consistently there.
Oh, Michael Begley.
Yeah, our guy Michael Begley in the chat calling me Big Tracy. I really appreciate that.
I like this Big Tracy. What up, Big Tracy?
I love you. Michael's famously known as Strip Club. Mike, we appreciate you, Mike. You're just a legend in the community. No, thanks for the support, man. Love you, man.
What did Michael Begley? That is Strip Club Mike. That's great.
I've just been calling him that randomly since I met him. So it's a great one. MDM forever, as he says here. Couch, what are you thinking here with your next pick?
I'm going Zach Wilson, baby.
See, so now you said you were kind of screwed at QB. I kind of like what you did here, the way you recovered.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of zigged when they zagged. I should have drafted Joe Burrow 106, especially because I like him a lot. I like him more than Kyler. Big Burrow fan. I should have took him. I would have been able to kill it at running back with Mixon and Henry or whoever. So that's a mistake. But you got to pivot, right? And so I attack with quantity. And the Deshaun Watson, I mean, I know I look like a total clown in the first 4 rounds, but I pulled it back. I saved it. I saved the show. I think it's not looking that bad. Attacked it with some quantity. I know Mac Jones has a very high floor, not a huge ceiling, but I think he's a really good undervalued quarterback, right? If you look at Daniel Jones versus Mac Jones right there, you can see there's some value there. Zach Wilson's a total like unknown. He's a risky one, but that's my QB4. So I got it. Deshaun Watson, maybe gets suspended 6 games, let's say. I mean, that's top 5-ish quarterback possibly when he comes back.
Winston on the space too, yeah. And then Zach Wilson, the arm talent, we talk about it all the time. All the weapons in New York that have been added, and they're already there to begin with. Yeah, this is a kind of a cool way to cover it.
Deshaun Watson, if he gets suspended a full game, to be honest, my team's mid. It's just, first round playoff exit, maybe. Huge risk, but that's why super flex is super sexy. It's unknown. It's mysterious. It's you can get Kittle in round 7, it's so much fun. Quarterbacks are actually worth something.
Yeah.
Super flex your nipples, stay hard.
Oh yeah, the whole draft. Yeah.
The whole season.
The whole season. Yeah. Last year it was between CMC and Mahomes for me, and I went back and forth for a month. It was crazy, and I took Mahomes, so that was good. But I mean, it was close, and I was asking a lot of people, and it's just like 50-50 split.
Yeah.
And actually, I think more people recommended CMC. Like, bro, just take CMC. Like, just don't. And I changed it. I was like, I gotta go Mahomes. I gotta go for the safer.
101
is quarterback. Yeah, 101 super flex last year.
Where do you stand on the CMC debate this year, just in general, as far as if you think he's worth the risk there?
He's my RB2 in full PPR. And one thing that I forgot to say was the guy who hated Superflex. And then I'll answer your question. This is like the same answer. Who's the guy? What's his name?
Scott. Yeah, I was thinking about him when you said it was sexy.
Look, man, raise your hand, man. Who plays in one league and that's it? One league. Anybody just play in one fantasy league?
No.
Spice it up, right? You're gonna eat boiled chicken with pepper every day? No, get a little steak. Have a salad, man. Get your avocados. It's a great protein. It's a superfood. Get your avocados in. Change it up. All I recommend is you try one super flex league. You want to be in the same leagues where I can draft Derek Carr in round 12, okay, and start him. Like, okay, or draft, Trey Lance in round 10, round 11, and Derek Carr, back him up. I can just get a quarterback like for free in the last round. Like, quarterbacks are disrespect. Tell me how that makes sense. In fantasy football, we draft all running backs and no quarterbacks. Yet in real life, running backs are disposable, expendable. Everyone knows it's stupid to draft one in the top 4 picks of the NFL draft. Everyone knows it's stupid to pay him like Todd Gurley and Z. Yet we put him on a pedestal in fantasy football. And it's fine. I don't hate it. I'm just saying, get a little bit of super flex in your life. Play in one super flex league. If I'm in a dynasty league, I'm doing super flex, tight end premium. It's so much fun. It's so much more of a challenge. You like the same boring stuff because you want to play with your boring friends and beat your uncle and your dad in the same league. And you're bragging to 11 people. Nobody cares. Okay. Get a little super flex. Have a challenge. Draft a quarterback. It's fun.
I'm with you. Scott saying, though, I'm in 43 so far, but none of them are super flex.
Okay. Well, you're eating boiled chicken all day. Get a little steak. Get some medium steak.
You're eating it 43 times, Scott.
Oh, my God. This guy's just sitting with, I want 43 well-done steaks every day, once a day. Blech. Come on, bro.
Come on, dude. That's no way to get your nipples hard, man.
Yeah. What's for breakfast? Well done steak and eggs. Hold the eggs. Okay, every day. My God, it's gonna get boring, bro.
Yeah, but you get 43 of them. So,
but there's a cheap steak. I can't eat. I'm gonna throw up. I can't eat the same cheap steak every day. Come on, for breakfast. That's disgusting, bro. I need a little variety. I like variety.
I don't blame you, man. It's the way to go.
It's necessary.
Spice of life.
What's NFL teams paying $230 million guaranteed for a running back? No. Come on. It's the quarterback, man. It's like the most difficult position in all of sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
And
so
they did
valuable.
that study that basically said, look, we need to protect the quarterback because the ratings dip
Yeah,
when
the
quarterbacks
start.
get hurt. When they're out, they don't want.
Exactly.
So, I mean, look, you're either going to be behind the curve or with it. Scott, get in line.
Just try one. In all seriousness, just try one, bro. Even if it's a $0 league or $30 league, I highly recommend it. Oh, you took Treylon Burks, you jerk. Oh,
You're in
did
on
this to
Treylon.
me.
Well, let's draft here.
Ugh.
Couch in a redraft, Drake London or Treylon Burks?
I like Treylon Burks a lot more than Drake in all formats.
Yeah, we do too. I'm getting talked into Drake and just trying it on for size, but Treylon Burks, we had him ahead in our pre-draft, in our pre-draft, and our post-draft. Like, but people love Drake London.
Yeah, no, a lot of Drake London truthers, and he's a bit of an unknown. I'm okay with admitting stuff that I don't know, right? Like I say, like Michael Pittman, I think is a little bit easier to predict. Maybe Terry McLaurin's a little bit harder. I'm a huge Terry McLaurin fan, but a little bit harder to predict. DK Metcalf, a little bit harder to predict. And I don't care about your stupid stats with DK Metcalf. He's hard to predict. He did okay with Geno Smith. I watched the games. Okay, it was one big play, and I think the other one was against the Jags. He wasn't that great. Okay, if you just look at the numbers and lazy, like some players are harder to predict than others. And who are we talking about? Oh yeah, Drake London. That's a guy who's pretty hard, right? Quarterback play questionable. I don't know if we've quite seen a receiver like him. Pro comp Mike Evans, but he doesn't look like he
Mike
doesn't
Evans.
play like Mike Evans to me. It's like a tight end, but like what's his pro comp? Dan Arnold, like a really dope Dan Arnold. Like
What player profiler have him as there?
Like if Dan Arnold took like just a bunch of roids every day, just was just juiced, like that. Like I don't. It's hard.
Dan Arnold's dope as it is, like, but yeah, it'd like be a more jacked version of him.
Yeah, and it's like I see the talent, but he's not a guy who gets separation. And it's like usually wide receivers that are good get a lot of separation. And there's some exceptions. Maybe Des Bryant, he was kind of like a 50-50 ball guy. And, there's some, maybe Hopkins is more of a nuanced guy, but not super fast. But like, I usually like guys who can run routes, get separation.
Well, the league's
just worried about Drake.
Yeah, the league's kind of shifting to that, right? Like it's not as easy to be the Des Bryant these days. They want their wide receivers versatile so they can move them all over the lineup. And that might not be in the cards. But I do think the case for Drake London, even with the worries, is just the volume. The problem is Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder throwing you the football. So I just don't think that. And then Kyle Pitts could really just be the one that benefits the most here. Like he should be their wide receiver one, to be honest.
He is the wide receiver one.
Treylon Burks doesn't have a Kyle Pitts. Like I like Austin Hooper as a sleeper tight end, but we like Kyle Pitts as a number one overall tight end.
Austin Hooper, Kyle Pitts, tough decision.
Yeah.
It's not close.
No, it's not. So there's a lot of logic pointing in the Treylon Burks situation. It also looks like they really wanted Treylon Burks to be the 1-for-1 replacement with AJ Brown. And look what AJ Brown was the best receiver out of his rookie class coming in. There's a ton of vacated targets. Treylon Burks fits the role pretty well. You talked about the things pointing to a player's like immediate reaction in the public, like Treylon Burks and asthma, is another one. Everyone's like, oh, so far off Treylon Burks, but it's like that might be totally foolish.
He felt like a round after the asthma, I think, maybe a little bit more than a full round, and so hey, I'll take that discount.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to take a couple practices or a preseason game where people are like, oh, he can do what he did his whole life and play football.
Or just keep it up like Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase was a miss of mine in redraft. I wasn't like hating on him too much, but I didn't draft him. And, I feel, I regret it. And it's like, just keep the bad news coming. What are we talking next? We'll talk about the lines on the football and then him dropping the ball. And hey, I'll get him at a 2-round discount.
Justin Jefferson.
What was the bad news with him? I don't remember.
Jefferson in his rookie season couldn't play against press coverage, couldn't separate at practice, and Zimmer was upset with him. Was starting behind Olabisi Johnson. Like there was all sorts of.
Remember?
Yeah,
I know he didn't start the first two. I think it was week 3 or week 4 was when he finally played.
Exactly. But you say a miss for yourself. Chase was a miss for me last year in redraft, and Jefferson was a miss for me the year before. So I'm very sensitive to this, like hype or anti-hype that gets happening. It's like, hold on a second, pump the brakes. Let's just see how he is on the field. And again, it's like everybody wants to say, oh, in Tennessee, the pollen is really. It's like Arkansas isn't that far from Tennessee, guys. Like I think that it's probably around the similar situation, and I think. He's just never played in the NFL before, and they're probably easing him in to organized team activities. Give it, training camp. Let's see him in preseason. Let's see what happens to Treylon Burks.
Dude, that Treylon Burks it is 1, 2, 3. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Treylon Burks. All totally different situations, but all the exact same situations.
And I will say, just to not really put him in the same bucket, Jefferson and Chase were better prospects than Treylon Burks. I have never seen
Jefferson and Burks. Like Jefferson was good, but Jefferson wasn't the number 1 overall prospect in that wide receiver class.
No, but I don't think he's got as much polarizing figures saying I don't know how to one guy's saying he could be AJ Brown, the other guy's saying he's Laviska Shenault. Like that's some of the dichotomy we've had with Treylon Burks, projecting him out of college. And I think with Jefferson, we knew he was probably a good wide receiver. He could run routes and do all those things. Yeah, you're right. He's not really good. He wasn't Chase as a prospect. I'll give you that for sure. But
yeah, the lowest floor of the prospect class for sure. But Treylon Burks still competes with that elite ceiling at the prospect level too.
I'm throwing out the asthma thing. I know the asthma thing is real. It's just that I watched, I think, the fantasy doctors. They're saying they have enough time. They should be able to find a cure, find a solution for it. And a lot of people are missing time, right? And right now we see the pup list and training camps, but back then too, a lot of people's not showing up to opt. So it's not that big of a deal. There's a lot of time. And I've dealt personally with this asthma type thing. Not necessarily, but I was having some issues and they're like, okay, it could be asthma. We're going to have to test 150 species of tree and then draw your blood. It's like a trial and error thing. You allergic to this grass or this tree or that tree, and then they find a solution. So yeah, it's only one state over, but it could just be one tree.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
One grass. So whatever it is, the thing is, I think there is something. I also don't care. That's the thing. So I'll take that 1 round discount. But what's awesome about Treylon Burks is everything. If you can discount the asthma like me, if you can get over the asthma like me, everything lines up except that he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes or someone throwing him the ball. And so I'm just seeing discount. Like we're seeing a super dominant guy. We're seeing a big play guy. So I'm talking, I like him in redraft. I like him in dynasty. I like him in best ball. I like the value. I like the upside. I like the situation. I like the target share. I like the opportunity. So all we got now is Tannehill and asthma. So those are the 2 cons. And Tannehill,
it's not that much of a
that
con.
Horrible. Not that I thought he was bad. I looked back and I think he ranked QB 12 last year. So it wasn't as bad as I Mandela effect remember it. I thought he was remember Zeke last year when everyone was crying and being like, oh, I'm so sad. I'm sad boy. He's like RB8. Well, they're I wish I had the RB8 last year, you jerk.
Yeah.
I was Tannehill. I was like that with Tannehill. I was like, oh, I drafted him in one of my 11 leagues and I lost.
Johnny, the intern, got to give him some love, but he's coming in here. Analysts all expected Burks running the 4.3s before the combine, then ran slow. Now has being in shape issues, asthma issues. I'm not feeling him as much.
Why would you think he'd run a 4.3? I'm just saying, okay, you read some articles, I guess. Why would you think he'd run a 4.3?
I don't know. Donnie does some.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Maybe it's just more disappointments. There hasn't been anything that's caught your expectations yet. So maybe they're just in free fall, and maybe there's room to capitalize on that from an ADP perspective.
Oh, I'm just saying he didn't make any sense. Treylon Burks is 6'2", 224 pounds. His speed score is in the 86th percentile. Like 4.55. Okay, maybe you're slightly disappointed in that, but like he's still fast, like for his size. 86 speed score. Like I just don't get
he
it.
definitely played fast. You could see it on the film. Like he
Yeah,
definitely
he just ran like a lot and scored touchdowns. Like,
yeah,
it was
like,
all
he
big
he was a
plays.
big
Like
guy, for sure.
I don't I mean you tossing that 4.3 around like it's like a lot of people do it. Like players his size don't do that often. Like he's not a small wide receiver, so I
Got a
don't
big
get
old barrel
that.
chest. Player Profiler does have him at a 4.55 40. That is the exact
Yeah.
number they do have him at, but big guy, plays fast too. I mean, we'll end up seeing what it comes down to, but I like him. Couch, I did want to get your take here. We've gotten pretty much everybody's stab. It's been a popular subject here in the fantasy football world, but I wanted to know where you're at on the Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers. Do you have one that you're targeting? Are you going value based? How are you hitting that traditionally ripe space?
So yeah, I got it ranked. But I think that's one of the things I'm saying is an unknown, and that's why you have to approach it cautiously. So the Chiefs don't know who their wide receiver one is. I don't think yet. So how would we know? Okay, like I really don't think they know yet. Also, it could change week to week, and so like I know we're supposed to have takes and everything. And I have stronger takes with guys that are easier to figure out. There's a floor with guys. There's a ceiling with guys. There's a risk. There's safety. There's things we can kind of guarantee. Like we can kind of guarantee the Texans, Seahawks, Bears, and Falcons are going to suck, right? There's some things that we like are close to guarantees that we can predict. And some things we can't. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, 1 year, $3 million deal. He's my number one ranked KC wide receiver. What does that mean? Not much. MVS, he's good in best ball. Sky Moore, I love him in Dynasty, but it is what it is. Did I just, beat around the bush and not answer the question? I mean, you can look at it that way, but I think I answered it the most honest way. I told you who my number one guy is in redraft is Juju. How much faith do I have behind it? None. Like I said, they don't know. So how are you going to come here and tell me? I honestly don't think they know. How would they know yet? Like they got to start practicing and stuff. They don't know.
They don't
just
know.
Gonna come on here. We're doing just because we're doing a sleeper mock. We know who they're gonna.
That's a funny point. It's like, how can we say we know? The Chiefs don't know.
They don't know. They just walked in the building. The dude's like putting the sticker on the locker and stuff. Why are you gonna know? You don't know.
No one knows right now.
You giving me faith for Justin Ross, undrafted wide receiver, going to be the number one.
Hey,
now.
floor and ceiling. You got about a little bit less than 1% chance that's going to work out for you.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, it's less than 1% though. It's less than 1%. It's not. That's not good. Yeah, there we go. It's not good.
No.
But you know what is good? Mock drafts in here at this time, getting you here, Couch. We're coming to. We just got done with the last round. Travi, you're coming up now to make the final pick of this one here. After we get through here, Travi, anybody you got a special thought for here to close the draft out?
Here,
just got taken.
Shoot!
Your boy Scott.
Little early. I like round 15 for him, but hey, talk dirty to me, baby. Make the nipples harder. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Kenny Gainwell. PPR, I think, he's got a little bit of upside.
Well, there it is. Couch, man. Can you do us the honor of breaking your team down? Let us know how you think it shook out there. You pivoted there after the Henry and then the back around on the third round, but you made up for it with the wide receivers. How you feeling about it when it's all wrapped?
It's not a good team. I definitely made mistakes. I should have went Burrow. It's fine. I haven't been doing a lot of 12-team super flex. So, it was good practice. So I need to just hit it up more. I got the IG Experts League coming up. So right now, my running back game is strong. My wide receivers are solid. QB is not. It's basically a pretty big L if Deshaun Watson gets suspended the full year. It kind of doesn't stand a chance. Now, if he does play, I think I got a shot. Team is like a C- at best. C-. being generous. Gallup and Tolbert was a mistake, but it's not that horrible, right? C means you can still win. So I'm giving it a C minus, being conservative with going crazy with Deshaun Watson in round 4.
Okay. I like this one. What we've been doing here too is if you see any squads on here that you think deserve a roast or a toast, let us know if any of those ones stand out. I did see one on here. Travi, let me know if you saw one here. I liked Brocal's team. I also liked. I'll just say I like Brocal's team. I like Lamar and Cousins. I think it's a fine 1-2. Chubb, Elliott, Cook, Stevenson, and McKissick. I think you're rocking with some running backs who you could make damage for you, and you got some depth with it too, and a little bit of ceiling there too. And then Stephon Diggs, Robinson, Brown, nice 3 there with Godwin later on in the season and a flyer there on MVS. I like Goddard too at the tight end position, so that was one that stood out to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with super okay. I think that I don't normally like Tua. I'm not normally in on Tua, but in Superflex, second quarterback, I can see it. But I like the rest of the squad. Cooper Kupp, we talked a little bit about Pittman, but love Mike Williams as my third wide receiver. We talked about Dalton Schultz. I think that was a great pick there. I'm not big on Damian Harris, but you got him pretty late here, and he should at least start out as their guy in the they didn't pick up his option, so they'll probably run him as much as they can until Ramondre makes some switch maybe. Edmonds, just kind of the cheapest RB out there right now. He went a little bit earlier than he's been going. And then Darrell Henderson really is one of my favorite later round guys. Just the contingency plan there with Cam Akers. And we've seen it when Akers is out and they turn to Henderson, he's a top 15 back. So, and Patrick, another contingency guy. So super okay was a nice draft for me.
What about you, Couch?
I don't know. I'm looking at all these teams. I don't know who you guys, for team 2, I really like Chris Godwin round 9. I think that's a killer pick. And there's this funny thing going around of like, everyone knows he's going to miss 6 weeks. It's so stupid. Because like what I just said with the Chiefs, he doesn't know if he's going to miss 6 weeks, or the Bucks probably don't know he's going to miss 6 weeks. So let go of the ego. Nobody knows. If you use Cooper Kupp's timeline, when he came back from the ACL and had a good season, he'll be back week 1. Now, it's good to be conservative and whatnot, and I think they will ease him back in, and they should, but we don't know when he's going to come back. So if this man misses 0 weeks, like, you just got one of Brady's favorite wide receivers super late. And I do like the rest of his team pretty much. I don't love his late round picks so much, but there's nothing wrong with them. I think his tight end doesn't have huge upside, but other than that, I do really like that. I think what team 2's at, and it's a little bit more nitpicking, I think what team 2 is missing that's actually pretty huge, and maybe you guys make this 14 rounds to kind of make it quicker, probably should be 16, is a third quarterback. You always need a third quarterback in Superflex. Like, it's 100% a necessity, even if a fake draft, a mock draft, a 14 round, you need a 2v3.
Even if there's a fire.
Hey, look at me. I mean, my team's not that good. Like, I admitted it, but even me, I got 4. Like, you should have.
This is a game of attrition. You're going to have buys. It's a super flex. If you can get 3, yeah, that's definitely a smart way.
You want to start a quarterback in your super flex. It's worth 5 more fantasy points. By the way, just because it's an option doesn't mean you should ever do it. You'll get 5 more fantasy points starting a quarterback as super flex over your 4th best wide receiver or your 3rd best running back. So you just want to like have a quarterback. Any quarterback will do. You should have a 3rd one, like Davis Mills. Like he's a fine one. Goff. Those are great QB3s. Like those are the ones. Like, yeah. So that was a huge mistake. But you live and learn.
And that's all that we can do. Man, it's been an honor to have you with us, Couch. Thank you so much for coming back. Thanks for blessing us with some time and insights, man. Let the folks know where they can find you and anything that you're working on right now they keep an eye out for. Fantasy Couch everywhere. Check out my YouTube. I'm on TikTok now. TikTok's blowing up. Hey. So check me out
a little
on
dance
there.
For us, Couch.
Fantasy. I do not do any dances. My
I'm straight to the point with it. I don't do
Okay.
anything. I'm 100% genuine. There's no gimmicks on there. No gimmicks, no nothing. But it's blowing up. Hey, at least one of my social media is taking off right now. But yeah, check out the YouTube, check out the TikTok, everywhere else. Fantasy Couch. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate you, Couch. So much love for you and what you're doing over there, man. We'll be back with you next year, and hopefully before then, man, we'll get something going.
Will do.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, guys.
Awesome. Well, we are rocking and rolling and continuing through this grind that is the Mock Draft Marathon, but we are having a blast, and we are excited to bring our boy Z on right after a quick break. Austin, we'll should I just roll it here?
Travis,
Do you have anything? Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too, man. We got to keep the love meter high here. So we've got plenty of time still, about 5 minutes before the next draft. So make sure you guys are filling that mock draft. Just drop the link everywhere, Twitter, in this chat, everywhere. So
On the ground.
Yeah, do it. Let's do it. Dwayne, when we looked at the second year guys, just who pops out as your favorite second year fantasy football target for breakout this year?
Yeah, so for me, and this one's kind of fun because it's just such a lightning rod, like in the community. But for me, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love Elijah Moore as well. I like Rashad Bateman, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, like really just when you look at what he did, in his rookie season, and here again, this comes back to, so what's the argument like on Amon-Ra St. Brown? It's that, well, man, he didn't have all those 30% target share games until, TJ Hawkinson went down. Right. And DeAndre Swift was out of the lineup. But at the end of the day, you know how good you have to be to demand 30% target shares repeatedly over and over and over. You have to be a really good, football player, like at the end of the day. And so that's what I'm buying into with a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown. And people forget, like he was only 21.9 coming out as a rookie. Jamar Chase was 21.6 years old in year one. This was not an old player. He did slip to the fourth round, and these things happen sometimes, but he posted a PFF receiving grade that was worthy. He had a wide receiver 2 season with 223 points, but he also backed it up with a wide receiver 2 worthy PFF receiving grade of an 80. And so, I mean, those are things that I look for. And so with me, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and a lot of it does come back to ADP as well. And now let's just bake in a couple of extra things. Like we still have questions with Zach Wilson, right? Zach Wilson, can he boost Elijah Moore, right, to be at the same level? Because I like Elijah Moore as well. He had a 73.8 wide receiver grade as a rookie, which was wide receiver 3 threshold. He had a 24% targets per route run, which is wide receiver 2 worthy. He also had a wide receiver 3 yards per route run of 1.75. So Elijah Moore checks a lot of similar boxes, not quite as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown, because the easiest way to find future fantasy producers is they've actually already produced in fantasy, right? Then you look at these advanced stats to help back it up. So with St. Brown, like it's just a player that I know. Jared Goff, do we love Jared Goff? No, but we've seen him support multiple fantasy weapons before. We haven't seen that, from Zach Wilson. So I do start to pull the other pieces in, but they're more tiebreakers. But the profiles of Amon-Ra St. Brown looks good. Devonta Smith checks all the boxes we want. Elijah Moore, from again, just as far as checking their talent, like they've already shown they can demand targets. They've shown in data points that are individual away from just the volume that these guys are worthy of more. Now, will they get it or not? Like some of the other factors will play, but they're all eligible. So Amon-Ra is my favorite, and I like the ADP on him as well, because now Bateman's ADP has just kind of gone, like it's like it's going through the roof. Like and Bateman honestly graded out the lowest of all these guys. Like his PFF receiver grade, he got like just above the threshold I want for a rookie, but ultimately it was a wide receiver 6 PFF receiver grade. His targets per route run, wide receiver 6. Yards per route run, wide receiver 6. He didn't touch any of the other thresholds, but he is a former first rounder. We've seen guys that at least get to that 65 grade be a former first rounder, and if they get to that 65 grade, we've seen 9 out of 10 former first rounders eventually post a top 24 finish. So I still feel good about Bateman, but wow, like him leapfrogging all these other guys in ADP just because Marquise Brown is gone, like means I'll get exposure to him. I just probably won't do it.
Right here.
Welcome in, Whisper Nation. Travis, I'm leading. You're leading. I'm leading. Here we go.
I was just going to let you know that I went to go put my headphones on and I couldn't find them. And I had a moment of panic. They were already on my head. So we are really getting into delirium and just all the fun that's going on here. But we are rocking and rolling, and we are into hour 14, I believe.
We're on the other side of the spreadsheet, dude.
Yeah, who knows at this
We're in
point.
hour 7. We're in hour 7.
Well, we got to bring our guy Z-Cants in right now, and we are so blessed to have the boost of our guy. Look at this mustache he brings to us, man.
Yes, look at that smile, man. What's up, dude?
What's up, boys? How you guys doing?
Bro, we're killing it, man. You're killing it.
You guys are so much more like you guys are like much more put together for this time of the marathon. Last year, like Austin, I could see you're kind of like getting tired a little bit, but I mean, like Travi, like he still has his voice. Like,
yo, dude.
Oh my god, I gotta put the glasses.
I can't even tell you that how much of a godsend it is to have my voice. Like people were talking about it in the chat early on. They said, I hope you don't lose your voice this year. If I lost my voice again, I might have just retired from fantasy at that point and just put it all away and just been done with it, because that was brutal last year, man.
You guys are managing yourselves though. You guys are like taking breaks. Like one guy's on, one guy's off. I like it. It's like so much more like managed this time around.
Dude, it's funny.
Might have learned after 4 years doing it.
Yeah, like Scott made the joke. I don't know if he was joking, but he was making a joke. He's like, making like, oh, Travi blowing lines. Oh no, it was Austin blowing lines. It's like, dude, actually, like I've been withholding caffeine on this one. Like I'm like, no. Can I make it 2 more hours without a cup of coffee? It's because if you make it that much longer, and it's like, okay, now I did it. And then it's like, oh, now it has like there's lower tolerance. It's more worth it. There's less time that you got to go ahead. It's like I'm actually finding energy by like withholding some of that stimulation. It's just like cold water has just been
like
the real pusher.
Organic, like third, fourth waves, huh?
Yeah. And then I got the sugar and I got the caffeine to go, and like it's in that moment of the time, but like I'm trying to push it as far down the road as I can.
Thinking you've lost your headphones, that'll boost some adrenaline.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, that was a moment for the ages there. But Z, first of all, tell the people who you are, what you're working on, because you kind of got a bunch of stuff stacking on the resume these days. So let the people in on what you're doing, man.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to finally be part of the Football Guys organization. Joe Bryant reached out to me about 3 months ago or 4 months ago, which was something I did not see or expect coming. But he was kind enough to bring me onto the team. And right now I'm still kind of pinching myself, because that is an organization that I've always looked up to. And I feel like, me and you guys, and I think we're all kind of like the same as far as like fantasy football goes. We're all part of like the same generation, and we're shaped by the same people. Like Football Guys, I think helped shape us all.
Yeah.
So like watching Sig and Cecil and Matt, like they taught us all so much. And for me to be with them right now, like I'm just kind of, I just shut up and I listen and I watch. I try not to talk too much, because like those guys, the stuff that we talk about, like they're really smart. Like this is like, they take this stuff like really seriously. They're very knowledgeable about it. So I'm just kind of like, I'm a ranker with them right now. And I just wrote my first article. It got published last month. And I'm just trying to balance that with personal life right now, and put out some quality content, and get the opportunity to work with the guys like that you brought on today, like Alex and Kluge and Sigmund. I'm stoked, man. It's quite the opportunity.
Dude, and like, dude, just to validate you, man, I listened to them. Like you said, they helped raise my fantasy football acumen and my interest. I listen to Sigmund almost religiously, and that dude cannot stop talking about you and your takes and what you have to bring. So on his podcast. So that, I mean, if Sig is shouting you out, that I take notice. I mean, we took notice of you before. We love you, of course, but like Sigmund is always shouting you out. So you belong, man. There's a reason why they picked you and why you went forward. And there's a reason why you're here with us, bringing us
second year.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate this, guys. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I don't know how you guys found me year one, but thank you for finding me and digging me up, and like thank you for bringing me back. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here, man.
You guys, I just want to commend you guys too for like what you guys have done, the guests that you guys are bringing on, and then you guys are dropping like the shorts now, like those like 5-minute shorts on YouTube right now, like those like dense, like really good, rich fantasy nuggets and stats.
Appreciate
You guys are really, you guys stepped up your game like in the past year or so.
Oh, man,
we appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
we got one spot left in this. We got the 5 spot, which we're jumping in. I did kind of want to actually touch on this. So we're kind of at this hour now. You know, we're after it's Sunday in all time zones minus Hawaii. So like for our Hawaiian listeners, like it's still Saturday for a couple more hours. But you know, we're on that other side now, and this is kind of one of actually my favorite parts of mock draft. And you know, I'm telling the truth, Travis, because I got goosebumps. I said that we start to get to kind of in this like you get to talk about things that are beyond, hey, who would you take with the 101 pick? You know, and we love that. We love it. And we get even closer. But you know, another side of it, and from the fantasy football community and like the content creation. Ooh, Boston Strangler, how do you get into our drafts? You could grab
that link, and then also you can follow, I think it's pinned on the YouTube video, just make check. But follow us at TF Whispers on Twitter and get in the Discord, which is in that pinned comment and in the description as well.
Yeah, the comment though right above the link, the sleeper link right above Boston is the link to this draft here. So there we go, they're in. Cool. I love it. Look at the internet, it works. That's badass. Last one for Scott, man. We love you. We love to poke at you. We love you poking us back, and I love to put my crock right up your butt every time we draft together. So much love, Scott. But Z, thank you for the and we got a full room, Travis.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
Do we? 14?
It's 14. I think we got 14.
14 still open.
Oh, it's such a big room. I had to stretch the screen because
I think I'm gonna get. I think Austin's gonna get upset again because it's 14 team PPR super flex dynasty started.
I'm not upset with the 14. I'm upset. You're like, oh, Travis, I only did 2 of them. This is like our 5th 14 teamer, bro.
All right. All right. You know, it's late. Okay.
Bro, when I saw they were closing it out on a 14-teamer, I was like, "Fuck him, dude!" Like,
hey, Austin, I heard earlier when you're talking to Sigmund or Dave, you were talking about ushering in children. So, who's had kids so far since last I spoke to you guys?
Johnny's
the new dad.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. They're their first child, like just a few weeks ago.
I gotta tell him congratulations. I didn't know that. That is so awesome. I thought he was
His break will be probably wrapping up right as you're exiting, so we'll make sure he gets on a little bit early to say what's up to you. But Austin, why don't you finish that thought, and then
I jumped in the 14 spot, so if someone wants the 8, it's there. But otherwise, we'll get this one. Yeah, I like it. I'm okay. You gonna do it? We're doing it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's fucking do it.
Honestly, a lot less auto draft I figured we'd be at this point. So
this is great. So yeah, back to your point. Z, thanks for shouting out the different clips we've been putting together, like these rich subjects, and we're going to keep getting those sharper and sharper. But we did take a bit of a brand shift in this year at the top of the year. What we really we're never going to we're never going to outdo some of these sites that we love so much. Like, we're never going to stat more than PFF. We're never going to football guys more than football guys. We're never going to the fantasy footballers more than the fantasy footballers. Like, there's just some people who are so locked in to their lane and what they do, and we love to be a part of that and benefit it. Because we're carving out our role, and like, what is it? Like, what we saw is there's so many great avenues for fantasy football, and there's so many people who have deep understanding of like some really specific or niche subjects. And we wanted to just like bring all of the people that are in this fantasy world together and to shine a light on the sharpest points and the strongest strengths that they kind of bring here. And just to really highlight the research and the work that they put in, and then to showcase that for a larger bunch. So, whether it's, a great analyst coming on, like we've been blessed to have, Sigmund and Dave Kluge, as you mentioned, like they've shared some great work. And then, Drew Davenport, and Dr. Evan Porras here. So we bring on like legal experts, we bring on physical therapists, and just like really crack into this a little bit more, and then try to share some valuable samples with people so they can get some things to actually help them make decisions as they move through this. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah. And you're absolutely right about that. That's what I appreciate about it, because all the guests you bring on, they're such experts in their field that, having them expound on what they work on is just creates so much more leverage for the user and the fantasy football consumer. It's so valuable. Yeah.
And then in a very selfish level, Z, like it's good for us. We become better.
Absolutely.
Like, players
but also like we become better at the thought experiments, which I think is just like a beautiful way to look at fantasy football, especially in the off season, because it's all purely speculation. We can crunch our numbers. We can, think that we're right or think that we know the future, but we do not know. But we can surround ourselves with some of the smartest people, including yourself, and then try and shape our thought experiment after that. And maybe hopefully provide new perspectives to those on as they do for us. I think that's what it's all about. So it's a beautiful thing, and we're doing it here.
Speaking of beautiful thing, man, this is a 14-team PPR Superflex Dynasty startup.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. What?
I just thought it was.
We made this best ball. We made this a best ball Dynasty startup.
I just thought it would be really interesting to get weirder as the night went on. So here we are.
So here we are, man. I love it.
Z, what did you do? Justin Jefferson here. I think that
Jamar Chase.
Oh, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So how do you guys recover after this? Just a full day of sleep after this? It's straight to the bed after this? When this is all said and done?
You would think that, but it's not really like that. You usually just sleep, at least personally for me, haven't been able to go to sleep right after. I usually eat something really good for the soul, but not good for your body. So like last year, I was sick. I had gotten sick during the draft, lost my voice. And I told my partner, God bless her, Cassie, I said, can you just go to KFC and get me the biggest thing of mashed potatoes and the biggest thing of gravy? And I'll just pound that out and then try to go to sleep. And I probably spent like 2 hours trying to eat just because my throat hurt so bad from that. So.
I understand what it's like to have food for the soul. And one of my best memories of food for the soul was one time in high school when I was doing shrooms with my friends, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was losing my mind, and I said, okay, I want this to end. And then I heard my friend's mom come out in the morning because we were up all night, and she said, okay, we got pancakes and coffee. I was like, thank God. And we had hazelnut coffee and pancakes. Oh. And that was right as rain after that. I was like, all right, I'm so glad that night's ended. I don't need to stare that deep into my soul ever again.
Dude, is there anything better than like partying hard with your friends and then their mom making you breakfast the next morning? Like dude, that is amazing. Dude.
Especially with shrooms too, because that's not gonna like hurt as much. Like,
no, it's not.
Nice. It's like once you're out, you're like, wow. You actually feel a little lighter. You feel a little like
you do. That's definitely true. You do. Yeah. Yeah.
I think for me too, like it's actually nice to take a little bit of a more thoughtful approach on the intake. Like we've done this event where we're just like pounding drinks and like just wild. Like the first time we did it 4 years ago, we literally had a party. We're like the party will energize the mock draft, So it's like we had our friends and stuff, and there's like a lot of people, dude. And it was like it's kind of a wild party. Like it was a rager. Like it could have been like you could have turned the camera around. It might have been even more interesting on what was going on. But it was like. It's better to do it with cold water and like apples and to do it this way. And then, like we've got it set up now. We'll take a couple hours. Like each one of us is going to take a few hours. And like, if you can fall asleep for 90 minutes, like you're going to wake up and like, maybe you do go to sleep on Sunday all day, but maybe you don't. Maybe you like just stay up and get you go to bed like at 8 o'clock. And,
I just woke up like 30 minutes right before the stream started. Cause I was just like, all right, because I got up early at 8 a.m. to go play golf. And it's been like a super long day, and I was like, I gotta take a nap, or else I'm not gonna be there for this stream right now. But yeah, what you guys are doing right now is you balancing yourself. You guys are like sustaining yourself with like nutritional food and water, and like who would have thought like that would have helped you get all the way to the other side of the marathon? That's really yeah.
We again, I think just years of the pain. Last year, I cannot tell you how much I like wanted to be done. Maybe like 8 hours in, and that's nothing to say about the guests. It was just the shape of that I was in, and I can't stop telling Austin when we're off camera, like I'm world's better. I just feel so good. I'm tired. My body's tired, but I'm here, man.
We got Donnie.
We should shout out Donnie because
we
say we're all getting breaks, but right now Donnie has not had one yet. I mean, he's in the background. He doesn't have to be on camera, but he is crushing it. And Donnie, you are the man. We appreciate everything, brother.
Go ahead.
I was gonna just on a quick one here. This is like a little bit of a different direction, but hey, this is where it has gone now on this one. I just wanted to share a little takeaway on this because like there is that point, but I think that's kind of like a microcosm for life. Like we all find a point in life where it gets a little like restless and anxious. And if I've ever had a lesson like from one of these experiences or otherwise, it's like keep moving. Like change your frame. If you find yourself in a place where you're like, man, I don't feel right. It's like, it's amazing how you don't have to walk that many steps before everything you see and hear is totally different. Mm-hmm. And having those avenues open to the world, like it changes your whole insides, like that anxiety and that restlessness. I'm not saying the energy is going to go away, but it might change from, anxiousness to excitement and then curiosity and then joy and then calm. And like it can progress through that path if you just keep moving. But if you stay still and you get stagnant, like what happens when water gets stagnant? It gets bacteria, it gets grummy. So like you just keep, we're water, like keep it moving. So we're after midnight and the comments are there. So that's what
I'll add to that too, because I believe some of the same thing. I didn't think this is what we'd be talking about, but shrooms are kind of like, so if you ever watch Midnight Gospel on Netflix and if you haven't, please watch it. I would highly suggest it. Duncan Trussell does a great job with that. It's basically a podcast over crazy animation that's all about meditation and shrooms and a tripping and life and all that stuff. But I think that Duncan Trussell has always said something that resonates with me, that there are no bad trips. That basically there's nothing you can't breathe through and get through. And I think there is a situation where you get to a point in that trip and you just have to remind yourself, like, I'm not. I don't want to say it and make it sound bad, but I'm seeing this for a reason. What is this showing me? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And then you you can't do that there, but maybe later on you're going to be doing that. And I think take the lessons that you get here. Yeah, Calvin's here for it. We appreciate it. Letting us delve down this round. What we should have done was eaten a handful of mushrooms here with Z on this draft and then seen what happened.
No, I thought we all said we were going to do that at 11. You didn't?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Put the tea down. Put the tea down, Austin.
I'm going to grab those blue blockers, though. Hold on a second.
All right, cool. Oh, the blue blockers. Yeah. I mean, like if I can go off what you said, like in what exactly. Austin was saying. So like, okay, so I was saying I play golf, right? So I'm really into golf, right? So I used to surf a lot, and I used to have a big passion for surfing, but golf has taken that. And golf, I love. It's very therapeutic for me because golf really has you see who you are psychologically, because the game will mess with you in so many ways. Mm-hmm. But what it allows you to do is, so when you show up to the course or the range or what have you, you may be hitting the ball a certain way, like, okay, I'm hitting really left or I'm hitting really right today. Okay, it tells you, all right, don't force yourself to hit straight. It gives you the tools to adapt to what you have going on for the day. And because I've been playing so much, the habits and the tendencies I'm picking up from golf are starting to carry over in my day-to-day life, in my mental capacities, and how I approach life, and how I, like, if you hit a bad shot, you can't start flipping out and you can't start focusing on it. You hit the bad shot, you move on, and you kind of just keep walking forward to the ball. And then you hit another shot and you adapt to what you got and you keep walking forward down the green. So that's kind of like how I've approached my life now. I'll be 40 next month. So I'm trying to pick up wisdom where I can, in whichever way I can. So right now it's through golf, and I'm trying to find the zen through golf.
I love that. It's actually not something I've heard a lot of. Like I can understand the patience that golf teaches you, the one-on-one mental game that it is, but you coming in with this refreshing approach to say, like, keep walking, go towards the ball, keep going straight, like going onward. It's like that Zen, chop wood, carry water kind of strategy. It's like you're just going to keep going because that's what you have to do to do it. We hear a lot, like, I was just on with the Snap Boys talking about my golf strategy, and it's basically like, it takes a lot of balls to golf like I do. And that's just because I'm always shanking them all the way around. So, but I think I get in that point so many times, but I think the repetition in golf has taught you such a beautiful thing, Z. And thanks for sharing that, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I used to be a philosophy major, which is like, and man, I had the best philosophy teacher. I'm just in hijack. We're gonna talk philosophy right now. We can mission.
You're with the right guys
here for it. Yeah.
I had
We need
the best
Sigmund
teacher.
back. We should call Sig. We'll get him back on here.
Get him back. Sig used to be philosophy major. I think Sig was a philosophy major, actually,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, and like I had this teacher who, after class, he would invite me and a couple students back to his office, and he'd make his like Japanese, like straight from Japan, Japanese tea, and give us Japanese chocolates, and we would just talk and we'd have a group we'd go to once a month called Cafe Filosofia at the local coffee shop, and we'd all just meet up and just discuss everything from Zen philosophy to like Stoic philosophy. And then he taught a Zen meditation class. We would go to Zen meditation class. And he always used to say, like, you know, as far as like going forward, he always used to say he was really into Japanese philosophy. So he would always say, you have to be the samurai sword in life. You have to be decisive. You have to make that cut in life and make that like that decisive cut in life. And you can't hesitate. You have to just keep going forward. You know, you can't have that apprehensiveness with things. So that samurai sword thing is something I've always tried to maintain since he told me that, you know, as far as like be that sharp cut in life.
Yeah, and especially decision making, because it is over time. We don't think of it in the moment, but the decisions we make obviously always add up, you know, so all the little ones mean something. If you're decisive in every one, I think this is something Tony Robbins always says too, like your decisions, they are a cut. You're cutting something off for something else. Like you're deciding on something. And I think that's a really important thing to look at, is like when you're clearly thinking about what you're going to do and doing it and having that conviction, how much greater and, just how much better your life can be in that moment.
It's like what everybody's doing here in fantasy football, in the fantasy football industry, you know, like all these guys are just like, I think everybody that's doing this right now is risking something, you know, because you're spending your time. You're spending the time that is given to you here, and you're saying, okay, I believe in this so much that I want to create this, and like I want to cultivate it. I want it to grow. I want to be part of this community and this new sector of fantasy football that's growing. And we're all just kind of we're all just here, like right now, like we're all just doing that together, like me, you guys, like everybody, like people in the chat, people who are participating in this mock draft. Like, doesn't matter if you're creating content or not. Like fantasy football, like playing it or creating content about it, it's all the same to me. Like I think that's all. Yeah, a lot of us we're doing right now. We're kind of like in the same boat.
It's all about that, like that connection, that point, that like either you come together or you break into something new, and it's all just it's found in all kinds of experiences. Like I've gotten so many people who hate sports, like to really be about like the fantasy football world. Like they might not be about it, but like they'll watch the show or things like that, because it's clear that it's not about throwing a rock, you know, it's not about like just topping a score. And I haven't found like a single cat who in this whole space who talks to any other part of it. It's like, yeah, you might come for the arcade bells and whistles, but like you stay for the people, you come back for the people, you come back for the community. And then you like might stay in this level because you want to create and become a part of it. Like it is life.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what's funny is I've found myself just reminiscing more about the days of where I was just worrying about setting my lineup, where I was just like, man, I miss the days of just playing fantasy football and just enjoying, and not even like being part of like 6 leagues, just having that one league that you wanted to play in. And just, oh man, those were the good old days when you were like the first 6 or 8 years when it started, and you were just like, had that one league and you're just worrying about beating your friends. It was just the simplicity about it. I don't know what it was about it.
Oh no.
About it.
All the levels that you end up going through. It's so funny. Chris Thomas, who along with Johnny founded our league of record, and Christopher was trying to get me into fantasy football for like a couple years before I actually did. But my holdout was like, I don't want it to become my life, dude. And he's like, dude, it's not like that. I'm like, and then, you know, here we are 15 years later doing a 4th annual 24-hour mock draft. But it's like, fuck, I totally just missed the point. Never mind.
I think about what you're saying there too, Z, but I also think that like just things progress. Like it sounds like right now you have a curious mind, right? You have a mind that wants to soak it up. I mean, you're talking about golf and the way it affects your the rest of your life and your thinking there, which means your brain is always open. It's open to other things and the way it can see it, curious as all hell, which is amazing place to be in. But I think that's what happens with us in fantasy, like, and anything. I want to be pushed. I want to be pushed to my limit each time I go and do anything else. And that means playing in a super flex league, Scott. And that means, moving to more leagues maybe, or trying to create content, or trying to create better content, or being better with my time. As you said, Z, I thought it was beautiful when you're talking about like risking your time. That True Detective line where it's like life's too short, so be very careful what you become good at. And because of how much time that you spend on these things that we do. But I'll tell you what, the way we've built TFW, and I think the way that football guys are rocking, and that your natural spirit is the way that makes this a true cup filler, something that fills your soul up, because you continue to connect with people in the community that, our mission statement is building a community where you belong. And that's what we want here. We want anybody that can come in. I just want to shout out Janice. She's in the chat. I don't even think she plays fantasy. She just saw this stream going. She keeps commenting the whole way. We're talking about shrooms for her and her social anxiety, and we just appreciate everybody in here.
Yeah. Johannes, I see her in Ray G's stream all the time.
Okay, cool.
Good shit.
I don't know if she has a Twitter account or what, because I haven't seen her on Twitter, but she's in the comments everywhere. So I mean, like, she knows her stuff. She's always making great comments. Yeah.
Oh man, this is cool. Good for you, Calvin. Coming here, this is cool. Rounding it out here too. It's like I remember the point that I did want to share on this one of Z, and you're talking about missing that week, that League One. Just in the beginning, as you're making your lineup choices, and just at that level with it, and as we talked about having brought on a lot of different analysts and a lot of different players in this whole space, we do this rapid fire set of questions, and one of the things we ask is, how many leagues are you a part of? And, when did you start playing fantasy football? And one of the trends we end up kind of noticing, another question is if your fantasy team, your NFL team more, I haven't seen anybody who's been deep in it, who's stayed with their NFL team. It's all become their fantasy team. That's across the board. And then the interesting part is, we've had some people, the league number blows up. It gets really, really big. But then some people are like, oh, I don't actually play in leagues anymore. Like, I'm just all about the conversation, the advice, the research, like diving deeper into it. Like, I used to be in 40 and now I'm in 0. And it's like, whoa, that's like kind of a crazy progression through the whole space. And they love it. You know what I mean? It's just a wild route that you go.
I was going to say something to that. Yeah, it's kind of like, so like I was part of like 10 leagues last year, and I've definitely knocked it down to like 6 leagues or like 5 leagues this year. And every single one of them has been like super flex or something like that. And like, whenever I come around those rare instances of was like, no, dude, it's just single QB. I'm like, what? Just single QB? Oh my God. It's like so refreshing. It's just so, it's just like, oh, thank God. Just a single QB. I don't have to worry. I don't have to push 2 QB. I can take the guys I actually want to take. Like that's kind of like, I'm just missing for those simpler days of when I was a kid and didn't know better, like, but at the same time, it is cool getting pushed in fantasy football, like Trav, like you said, like, and like really pushing your limits and trying to get better at your craft. Right. So like, there's 2 sides to that coin. And
I think it's like refreshing, as you said. We did a single QB mixed in somewhere. We've been doing a lot of super flex. And I remember like being like, oh shit, like the value at quarterback is here. It continues to be here, which is amazing. So, it's hard to switch gears, especially on the fly like this, but it's fun to push yourself and think outside the box a bit.
Absolutely, guys.
Just thinking about outside the box, just bringing it back to the actual mock here for a second. This is a pretty wild startup, but I'm feeling all right about my build to get it going. How you feeling about yours, Z?
I accidentally drafted Antonio Gibson. I
thought that was serendipitous, right? Because last year,
love him.
Gibson was your boy, right? You came in hot on Gibson last year, and you auto drafted Gibson on accident here. It's just kind of like the universe. We're talking about philosophy.
This is my karma.
Yeah, just telling you that you need him. You're out though. I mean, in Dynasty, it's probably tough.
I mean, so like I from evaluation, so I work with analytics and stuff like that. But my core, my root, my love is film evaluation. And as somebody who studied the prospects, at this year's running back prospects, I have Brian Robinson was my number 3 prospect coming into the year. So when I saw him land with Washington, the concern that I had for Gibson's fantasy value was serious, and I thought that was a detrimental thing for Antonio Gibson. I know Antonio Gibson's a physical freak and this and that, but when you look at what Brian Robinson's good at, when you look at his size, his profile, that's something to definitely be concerned about. And so whoever isn't worried about Brian Robinson, I want to live in your world, and I want that peace and comfort in that that peace you wake up with every single morning knowing that everything's going to be okay. I want that so bad.
Ignorance is bliss, huh?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. Oh man. Oh, I was. How do you guys? Zach Wilson. I'm kind of going back and forth on every single day. I'm kind of like laughing at anybody who drafts him, and then I'm kind of like, well, he just needs to because my thing with Zach Wilson is his whole thing is processing, right? He takes a long time to process his reads, right? And when I think about processing and what is at the core psychological root of that, I think it's a confidence issue. Like you don't trust yourself, you don't trust what you're seeing. You understand? I'm sure Zach Wilson, when he's reading the playbook or he's reading about different concepts, passing concepts, flood concepts, sale concepts, he knows all the stuff. He can tell you about it verbatim, word for word when we're sitting down and talking right now, if you had him on the mock draft show. But I think when somebody's out there and they have processing issues, it's because they don't know, they don't trust themselves too much. So I think with Zach Wilson, if he can get past that confidence issue and understand and trust his read and his instincts out there, because like any sport, there's a numbers game to it, but there's also very much a feel aspect to football. And Zach Wilson needs to trust that feel thing. And he doesn't trust his feeling and his instincts, because what hinders him is his bad habit of looking down and looking at the pass rush when it's coming at him. As a quarterback, that's a cardinal sin. You're not supposed to drop your eyes from what's happening out there with the passing routes. You're supposed to feel pressure, right? That's why you always want a quarterback that feels pressure. Like Tom Brady never drops his eyes, but Tom Brady's an extreme example. But Zach Wilson always drops his eyes and looks at the pass rush. And because he drops his eyes, it gives the pass rusher enough time to get to him. Like the pass rusher's 5 yards away, he'll look at the D end, and the D end will be like, "Oh, you're looking at me? Okay, I'm gonna bull rush this guard or this tackle right now," and it comes straight for you. So Zach Wilson, his highs are high, but his lows are low because of his processing issues. So I think in the preseason, let's watch for that for Zach Wilson, because if people don't pick up on that and we see his processing go up and him actually hitting throws on time, then I think that's a good time to start buying shares of Zach Wilson on the cheap.
Well, and I think there's something we can say for Zach Wilson that we can't say for Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. And it's not just that he banged, his mom's best friend. It's that the team around him is actually being improved quite a bit. And that includes the line. So to your point there, Z, about him looking down, maybe that's a huge issue with the line. They're going to get Mekhi Becton back. They're going to get some pieces. They had a great draft. I think that we could see it, but I am hesitant because decision-making is so much of that. It's why it's such a hard position for anyone to scout. We just don't we talked about this a little bit, Austin, with the college tape. Sometimes it's so hard to look at these quarterbacks and say who's going to be good because, you just
don't get to see them in the pressure cooker situation of the NFL. So you don't get a chance to see what they would do in the situation. And Z, I thought you brought up some really excellent points there. And Travis, I don't think it matters how good of a line Zach Wilson has. Eventually the pressure is going to get there. And if Zach Wilson drops his eyes when that pressure eventually gets there, then he's kind of fucked. And I think that is a trust issue. I think that it's a confidence issue. There's a lot of other emotions that you got to get right with. I think he still has that window to make that happen and almost reroute the way he handles fear. But I think it's probably more likely than not he doesn't. We see top tier quarterbacks who are taken in the top 5 rounds, but do have question marks around them bust all the time. And I just don't really know why Zach. He's got great arm talent. So did Johnny Manziel. I just don't exactly know why Zach Wilson is going to make it if he doesn't have the processing and if he doesn't have the ability to process fear in a way that allows him to stay focused. I don't know if he will overcome that.
It's just if he does overcome that, or to some degree, Did I go an auto pick again? Oh man, I got Schultz. All right, whatever. This is also karma again for me saying that Dalton Schultz is the older version of Jason Witten earlier. So this is also karma for me for saying that earlier. But I think if you look at like any quarterback, right, that's struggling to get better, right? If you see Zach Wilson making those strides at getting better, you can almost like hear that old skeleton key going inside that lock, and you can hear the lock opening up, and you can like Garrett Wilson's unlocked, Elijah Moore's unlocked. Like the entire offense is just that much more better. He is the skeleton key. Those small fixes is that skeleton key to unlocking the fantasy potential of those guys. Like Elijah Moore, I like him over Garrett Wilson because this year in fantasy football, I'm definitely more practical at how I view players, right? Like I was not that guy last year. So like when it comes to beat reports, right? Like Josh Jacobs, I saw a report that said at the very end of it, it was talking about him as a committee back, I think yesterday or today, from one of the beat writers, and said, and then in the Roto World or the Sports Edge description, it said Josh Jacobs is a scary RB2 pick this year, which I just don't agree with because practically Josh Jacobs is a very good running back. He's a good running back, and I'm not afraid of Zamir White. Zamir White is fine. He was a fine prospect. Kenyon Drake, he doesn't have anything on Josh Jacobs as a rusher. Josh Jacobs, out of talent, they're not going to take off a talented running back. Why are they going to take off Zamir White? And plus, Josh McDaniels, he doesn't just rush out rookie running backs on during their first year. Damian Harris, I think, had like, did I do the auto pick again? I did again. I'm sorry.
You're good, dude. Well, you could auto draft the rest of your team and still not have auto drafted.
I did want to say one thing on the pick. I thought Johanna's brought up a good point. She is a Antonio Gibson fan here, and she's got Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson, and so it's something you could go ahead and still make happen. And I think this mock.
What was I saying though? Yeah. So, anyways, so going back to Josh Jacobs, Josh McDaniels, I think Damian Harris in his first year got like 32 attempts, right? Ramondre Stevenson, people are going to say, "Oh, Ramondre Stevenson got touches last year." Now, to that I reply, "Well, James White was injured in week 3, and they had nobody behind that, so he was thrust into a role, and he didn't even see like consistent 50% snap share until about like week 7 or 8. So it was very touch and go with Ramondre Stevenson, even weeks after James White was injured, because Josh McDaniels, and he was very apprehensive of putting a rookie running back in there. And he was the guy in charge of the offensive personnel. Like Bill Belichick, like was definitely hands off about that. When you have a guy, offensive coordinator, as good as Josh McDaniels, there we go. See, Johannes is saying it. I feel way better about it. If you have an offensive coordinator who's as talented as Josh McDaniels, I am definitely handing him the keys to the offense and saying, go ahead, do what you want with that. So with that said, I am not really worried about Zamir White this year. I think it's very overblown. I think Josh Jacobs is going to have 240 touches. I think that's his floor, 240 touches. And he's not a scary RB2. He's an absolutely fine RB2 on an offense, which is going to be projected to score more points in a high-scoring division. I'm in.
I can buy it. How do you think he did? Yeah. What do you think about after this year?
After this year? I mean, he's still a great dynasty asset. He's only 24 years old. He's got like a few more years left on him. Yeah. It depends. So again, like it comes to that practical sense of what is he as an asset and as a running back. And I think he's a good running back. I love him as a running back. And I think he'll find, I don't know what the landscape's going to look like next year as far as contracts and what vacancies there might be, but I trust in his ability, and I got him. I got him in like the 10th round of startup or like the 12th round of startup 2 days ago, and it's just all about.
Nice.
Yeah, so I feel good about him. I feel good about his prospects next year. And Zamir White, I picked him up. I drafted him in the 4th round of a rookie draft this year. So, I mean, like I like Zamir White too, but I'm not really worried about a rookie running back year 1 when when you got Josh Jacobs standing on the other side of on the top of the depth chart. So
Yeah. Travi, I took Kenny Pickett, man, and that's the worst pick I think I've made of this entire mock draft marathon. That was the pick I made. Worse than Drew. Yeah, Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer, dude. What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
There's just like so many other second quarterbacks, even still, that you could just. I got it stuck in my head because we did the best ball. We did the best ball 14 team super flex, and the quarterbacks went away so freaking fast. But like, there's still so many. I like Tua for the now and the future. And like, if I'm just going for another now guy, like Ryan Tannehill's here, Jared Goff's still here, Marcus Mariota is still here. It's probably better than Kenny Pickett, like this year. So that was my worst pick of this entire marathon.
What? I still think Mitchell Trubisky is being overlooked this year. And who is the Mitch guy out of the U3? It's Johnny, right? Johnny's a Mitch stan out of you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, I like Mitch. I think he's a good like last round quarterback. And I mean, in Superflex, I definitely don't mind him as an upstart Superflex guy. But in Dynasty, this is a Dynasty startup. It'd be a little bit more risky for sure. But I think Mitch is like can really unlock some things that offense that maybe Pickett can't. And so
I like him in that Tomlin system. I trust Tomlin a lot. I think he puts his players in good situations. I think Trubisky in a good situation is good for Trubisky. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I got into a conversation with one of the guys at Football Guys, and I was saying that Nagy wasn't a great coach, and this guy was like, well, actually, he got in the playoffs a couple times, and he got voted Coach of the Year a couple years ago, and to that, those are good points. But I think it got to a certain point where the whole entire organization, the Bears organization, just kind of deteriorated in front of their eyes, and with that, goes the locker room, and Mitchell Trubisky kind of his whole character deteriorated with that, and we saw that with Fields starting last year. And
in 10 seconds for you on this, just so you know.
Oh my God, dude! Thank you so much. No,
it matters.
Kirk.
Did you get him?
Oh, you did. Chan changed it. I love it.
Yeah, it gave it in, and it happened, and you got it. And
still auto, but you gotta take.
Oh yeah. Take it. There you go. Oh, and I'm so glad that didn't end up happening because I really wanted to take Michael Carter here to pair along with Breece Hall in this Dynasty startup.
I was actually okay with the Carter auto pick too. I saw that it was going to auto pick me Carter. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's not bad.
It's all right. It's all right.
Not terrible.
No, but I like him for my my handcuff situation more. So thank you.
No problem.
Oh shit, and I'm still up. Fuck. Oh my God.
That's great. We've come a long way from talking shrooms at the beginning, and now we're just basically almost auto drafting every pick. On our player picks. I love it.
Yeah, I don't get a chance to talk with you guys a lot. I have so much.
I'm so
your podcast so much. And I see your shows, and I just want to talk with you guys all the time.
Yes,
we'll change that. We'll get John. It's definitely during the season for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna be yelling all the time. But
Austin Travis reached out to me so many times, and I've always been working. He's like, "We got a mock draft tonight. We got this going on." And I was like, "I can't, man. I'm working. The man will not free me. He's got me chained up. He will not let me out of here, dude." So
we'll get you.
We'll get it.
Our watch parties are around the corner too, which is a great time to get.
Oh yeah, you just come on for 5 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever. Like
the what parties?
When we watched the game, you came on for the Chiefs Chargers game for us. But we'll be doing more of those, and you won't have to stay the entire game if you got something to do. But just come on, highlight some of the pieces you're working on, and we'll get rocking with it. Watch some ball. I mean, I don't think there's anything better than that, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Oh, it's so cool. I'm so stoked to watch preseason football too, just to see like, man, all these rookies that we've been talking about. We get to see them all kind of, and then those deep guys that like nobody knows that you're just all like planting your flags for, like
Snoop Connor, let's go, baby.
Connor. Austin, did you know I was a Snoop Connor guy? Did you just say that to appease me?
I'm a Snoop Connor guy.
He's the only guy I really want to watch this year. Like, if we get to watch him Hall of Fame game, we're gonna see so much Snoop Connor in that Hall of Fame game. It's gonna be amazing,
dude. Like, if Travis Etienne's not an every down back and James Robinson's not healthy, and Snoop Connor was drafted by this incoming regime, like, What does that say about Snoop Connor's opportunity?
Yeah.
Who else? Like, legit though, who else is there? Like, Raquel Armstead is gone. Like he got disappeared, right? Like he was supposed to come back, and then he just
Is he still there? I think he's still there. Yeah.
was he?
Now
I don't
you
know.
see him. Now you don't.
Right? Like I don't even
Man.
know.
I remember when Raquel Armstead's the one that got COVID a couple times, right? And then he was injured with, was it Achilles or something?
I think
But
that was him,
I'll never forget when they were like, Raquel Armstead is expected to come back stronger than ever.
And then he never came back.
I was like, how? Like, what if he doesn't? Like, what if he comes back? Just
How do you know that?
wrong? It was just like a weird phrasing that they always do for these things.
But anyway, no, dude, I love Snoop, right? And I think it's weird that nobody's talking about him when it's like this dude's probably going to get touches week 1.
It's people are starting to talk, Austin. People are starting to talk.
I've seen
him going, and I've seen him being drafted in rookie draft. Like people are drafting him in rookie drafts. I've never seen that, but that started happening. And like his name's getting like Matt Kelly on Roto Underworld. Like he likes him. I've seen Ray Garvin talk about him. So like people are starting to talk about these guys as like these late round rookie flyers that, you know.
Any other guys in the preseason games you're actually excited to watch? Some of these positional battles or deeper rookies?
I want to see like these. I want to see these UDFA backs trying to get some time. Like I want to see like Kennedy Brooks on the Eagles. I want to see this guy Devontae Price on the Colts. I want to see these are running backs I'm talking about. I want to see Jalen Warren on the Steelers, Raheem Blackshear on the Bills. Like there's a lot of UDFA running backs that did not get picked up in the draft, and there were so many because I think of the COVID year, you had so many carryover in 2021. So I mean,
Abram Smith on New Orleans too. Like
I was about to say, and there's obvious UDFA like Abram Smith on New Orleans, right? Let's see. I loved him. I discovered him in, I believe, December and November of last year. When I started, familiarizing myself with this rookie class. I mean, there's so many great ones. And then we get to see.
Johnny's a Seattle fan, and he says Locke versus Geno.
Ah, yes.
Preseason.
Oh, that's kind of dude. I want to throw out there, not a UDFA, but Pacheco for
Pacheco. Yeah, seventh round pick. Yeah.
That was pretty cool, dude. I was just saying this a team 8. I love this auto draft teams. Like fuck them quarterbacks. It just took Malik Willis here, but I just like no red, just strike down the middle.
I like it. I think he's probably just betting on a Ryan Tannehill injury or something like that. He's like week 1 Ryan Tannehill injury.
Yeah, I love it on this one.
Well, there's some other things in the preseason, and maybe we won't see everything, but like to go back to Pittsburgh and what Matt Harmon was kind of telling us in the first couple of hours, what they do with the wide receivers. Where do they line up the wide receivers? Does Claypool go into the slot? Is it Deontay? What happens with Pickens? Like all these different things to look at with Pittsburgh's offense. New Orleans offense, are they going to open it up more than they did last year with Jameis Winston? And I don't know how much we'll actually see in the preseason of these things, but I remember Austin, like Tyreek Hill getting a bomb from Pat Mahomes in the preseason. That was
changed everything for me. I literally did one of my Wisp perspectives.
That's right.
On how my entire opinion on Tyreek Hill flipped when I watched that one deep touchdown pass. It was it, and then I remember I got him in the 3rd round of Tolton, and I was so freaking stoked, and he was the number 1 overall wide receiver that year.
Oh, this is during his rookie year, or like this year too?
During Mahomes' first season as a starter. Now, he wasn't a rookie. He had sat behind Alex Smith, played 1 game against Denver, and then the next offseason, he threw a bomb, like just a giant bomb to Tyreek Hill.
I remember this.
And then that's what gave people faith in Tyreek Hill. But what it did for me, I took Mahomes that year. And I took him late, and people weren't really – they were in or out on Mahomes. They didn't know. We weren't as big on the rookie quarterbacks, I would say, and so I took Mahomes that year. Another one, Johnny, the Fantasy Whispers comes from Johnny keeping his eye on Alvin Kamara and whispering that to me at our draft, our League of Record draft, and then me swooping him up. Now, eventually I traded him away like an idiot, but Alvin Kamara in that offseason as a rookie took a punt return to the house. And that's when you see kind of, so preseason at Terrell Davis, Hall of Fame running back, was a special teamers. Special teamser hit somebody really hard on a punt and got more playing time in preseason because of it. And that's where, like stars are born in the preseason. Ramondre Stevenson. We like Ramondre Stevenson. He was a preseason star last year.
Preseason god last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My gut dropped so fucking far when I watched Ramondre Stevenson make that run, and I was like, why didn't I take him in the second round? Why?
The window shut.
And I took Ramon-Ra St. Brown instead. I'm not hating it, but I'm still kind of like, damn, I wish I would have taken Ramondre Stevenson. Not really, but you see that play and you're like, my whole life is over.
Yeah. There's a possibility that he ends up as the primary back in 2023 on the Patriots for sure. Yeah, but then you got some also really interesting. They going back to
good backs.
He's 24, and they've got another back, and they're going to draft another back next year.
I got rid of him in Dynasty. I try to capitalize a little bit. I think I probably undersold him just a tad, but that's the reason. Like, what's the ceiling in Dynasty for Ramondre Stevenson? Because these guys got to get hurt all around him, I feel like, for him to actually be bell cow or souped up version of LeGarrette Blount for multiple years. And I just, I don't know.
Dude, what running back for the Patriots also is like, they do have successful running backs. LeGarrette Blount kicked ass. Stephen Ridley kicked ass. We want to go back over a decade.
Marine, baby.
Damien Harris has been all right, but has any Patriots running back like been good? And when I say good, like at least an RB2 for 2 years? For 2 years?
Damien Harris, like Damien Harris.
Has he been an RB2 for twice? Has he?
I thought he was good last year. Scored a ton of touchdowns.
I know he was.
I think he was pretty decent the year before, maybe not. But
so then you have Pierre Strong Jr. behind Ramondre this year.
He was the RB.
What's up?
Damien Harris, he was the RB8 in standard, RB14 in PPR, so right on there. Year before, RB54. Year before that, 127. So no, he's had one good year, and we'll see if he has another good year.
Well,
I think
what people really leverage with Damien Harris is the propensity of the New England Patriots to just constantly run it at the goal line, right? And Damien Harris is pretty much that guy at the goal line every single time. Yeah. So I think he only had like 900 something rushing yards last year. I think like 915 rushing yards, I believe. So it's not like he was. What's that?
929.
929. There you go. Yeah. So they're just betting on those touchdowns. I think he had like
15 touchdowns.
Yeah, 15.
A lot of them were outside of the 15-yard line too. Like he had a decent amount that were like. Yeah.
Long. Damien Harris is great, and I think he's probably going to be fine this year. But it's like, okay, Damien Harris now is 25. He's only had one good year. Ramondre Stevenson's got a lot of great metrics. He's coming up right behind him. He's going to be cutting into that load. And then maybe Damien Harris then gets shipped out to Miami or whatever, the way they did to Sony Michel. And then it's Ramondre Stevenson season, but then they just drafted Pierre Strong, and they're going to draft another guy next year. I wonder when the last time we saw the New England Patriots with back-to-back consecutive years of at least RB2 production.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie's asking if Blount was more than 1 year. Maybe he was 2 years.
Who was the?
Not sure.
It's close. 2 max, if it was. He was good in other places. Like he was good in Pittsburgh, and he was good in
who I forgot who. Oh, it was before Ridley. It was Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, I think, wasn't it? Yeah,
the law firm.
The law firm.
Yeah.
Stephen Ridley was one of my favorite picks. It was in our very first draft for our league of record, and I got him in the 12th round, and he was an RB1, and I felt so smart.
It's usually the same process with the Patriots. What is it? What do we always say with the Patriots every year? Just take the cheapest guy, right? Because that's that it usually, like, remember that 1 year Dion Lewis went off? Was it 2000?
Oh my God, Dion Lewis! I love Dion Lewis. Another one.
Dion Lewis was like the James White, but like better between the tackle runner. So you're like, this, like Dion Lewis could be so good.
He was like a little action figure to me.
Yeah,
he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I forgot, dude. They've had so much. Jonah Gray,
dude. I was still remember that
game.
Oh, dude, yes.
The 4-touchdown game against the Colts, and then he was late to the meeting, and he was never heard from again.
Yeah, literally.
Never called him again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Just a Travi. I don't think getting out of Ramondre Stevenson, like maybe he could have gotten a little bit more, but I think selling a Patriots running back at hype is like always the route to go because you got one more season in him, probably max. That's it.
And like, yeah, maybe I miss out on the 1 year where he's like RB2 or RB1, you know, mid round RB1. Mid-level RB1, but I think other than that, yeah, it's not long. He's not long for that situation.
Can I ask you guys what's going on with the Whisper Listener League this year?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. So we haven't announced any spots, but we're trying to give Patreon the first crack at some spots. We'll run through them. Donnie, who is our intern, partnering up with us, helping us out right here. He's going to be the commissioner, so he's deciding on the point scoring and all that. So he'll be in Donnie. The three of us. Johnny doing some work for PFF. Hopefully he lands a more. He's going to get some more work from them coming in the future as well. But yeah, we're gonna be on the lookout. We'll have some giveaways for those positions. And
dude, I remember your team, man. You had a tough start, and then you just kicked ass. You made it deep.
Redemption.
You made it deep, right?
I don't know, dude. I made to the.
You started like 0-3 or something, and then it just came around.
I was like, this is crazy. But then I just found a few pieces on the waiver wire and scavenged around for little things here and there. I'm on Ross St. Brown like in the last few weeks when he started going off, and it just takes that one player that you find on waivers to kick your season back into gear.
Absolutely.
I had a lot of fun in your league. I know Death by Rona was in there, dude. He was talking trash all the time. I had fun with him.
Right. Make sure you send my invite. It's sent, Scott. Make sure you get the payment ready. No, he's good. He just usually always giving us a good time. We love it.
And we know that he loves God. Isn't that right, Scott? Right, yes.
Are you guys doing you guys spinning the wheel this year, or do you guys
Wheel's coming back.
I didn't see a wheel yet. I didn't see like
not on the marathon. It's not here, but we'll be doing the wheel for probably some listener league spots and some coming streams.
All right,
sure.
So who's your last pick in the draft going to be, Z?
I don't know, man. My pick, dude.
It's James Robinson.
That's not bad.
Not for a dynasty play at all. No, last round.
I've auto picked a hell of a team this
haven't we all?
I can say good things about all these guys.
This is kind of the curse of fantasy football, though. We could say good things about almost any player, and
I can spin
fantasy football. Twitter will do it too.
I can spin gold out of any of these guys.
Dude, it's like a Bible verse, man. You can use a Bible verse to justify either side of an argument every time.
Exactly. There you go.
We can roast and toast every single player, every single team on this entire thing. It's just what kind of mood are we in? What's up, game time?
Hey.
Dude, just a quick flag it here. We are 1 minute until the hour, and we're rounding out the draft. So we're gonna have in this fatty draft that we've got going, we'll have to have a little bit quicker of a turnaround, but just flagging that one here as we round it out.
Johnny, congrats on your kid, man. I had no idea. That's awesome.
You're muted, Johnny.
Wow, this whole time I've been muting. I've been like talking to nobody.
Yeah, the whole stream.
The whole stream.
First time I heard his voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Z. Had to jump on, say hi to my boy.
I might be joining you, and I'm probably going to be joining you in fatherhood soon because
let's go, dude.
We're doing
breaking news.
Tomorrow night or Sunday night we're doing we got a cake and we're going to cut it, and then like whichever color, blue or pink it is, we're doing the sex reveal of the baby tomorrow. So,
hell yeah.
So I don't know who I was talking to in the chat when I said I have something. I can't go too late. Like I thought I was going to be going to 3 in the morning because I had something important. So that was the thing. So I want to share that with you guys.
What are you hoping for?
You guys are family to me, so it's I definitely want to share it with you guys. So,
yeah, dude.
Wow!
To be a dad, guys. I'm really excited.
Oh my god,
dude!
Yes.
Congratulations! Thanks for sharing that.
Like the fantasy community. I'm telling you guys.
Love it.
Life
so much.
Dude. Life. Let's fill our screens with life.
Austin found some shrooms.
It's similar effects. things start to get a little. Start taking advantage of the space.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
Nah,
man,
it's just lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Just lack of sleep. That's what I'm blaming the Kenny Pickett pickup on here too. So
Are
hopefully
we done? Is that it? We got
that's it, brother.
All right, right on,
Dude,
man.
just like that.
That went fast. Jesus.
Yeah, that's how I felt about that 3-hour break I just had. Went
Oh.
fast. Well, see, we'd love to do a roster breakdown and do the roast and toast for the whole
No,
squad,
you gotta
but
move on.
we're moving on this quick one. But please take the time here and let the folks know where they can find you, where they can follow you at, and what they need to be keeping an eye out for that you might be working on. I'm
just right now, I'm at ZCantsFF on Twitter. It's right there in the handle, and I'm just primarily doing rankings right now on at Football Guys, and I'm contributing with an article here or there. I'm doing collective pieces with them when they have like these roundtable discussions. I'm also on a podcast called What the Fantasy with my friend Brandon Hay and co-host, and we do that every Wednesday night. But right now, I'm just kind of trying to do a work-life balance thing and not trying to push too hard because we got the pregnancy thing going on and this and that. But yeah, if anybody feel free to reach out, and I'd love to talk with you guys about fantasy football. My direct messages are open for people whoever wants to talk about football. Slide in the DMs, as the kids say. So yeah, that's me.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being with us again, dude. We got nothing but love for you and everything that you do, man.
For sure. Yeah.
Good luck, buddy. Good luck. Hopefully you get. I mean, you're getting a baby, so that's the good stuff. But hopefully you get the gender you want.
Yes, sir. I don't even care. Whatever. I just wanted to be, a healthy young baby. So I'm stoked.
Yeah. Amen to that. Amen to that. Amen. All right. Get some rest, buddy. You'll need it.
Guys. Yeah.
Bye. Peace.
Peace, Z.
Well,
all right.
Well done.
Johnny, tagging me out.
Tagging you out. Austin and I going to be joined. And next, we're going to do a little 5-minute buffer. Right?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then we got our next guest up.
Yeah, we'll be jumping in that just a few minutes here. It's
just daytime. Just a few minutes.
Appreciate you being on here, Steph. You're an inspiration to us, and we love having you on here. But we want to help Whisper Nation get to know you a little bit better here. So we've got some rapid fire questions. It's, kind of, one word answer. Just get through these here. We're going to rock through. So you ready? Cool.
Yes, got it. Okay.
Do you root for your NFL team or your fantasy team more?
I'm a Giants fan.
That's all that needs to be said there.
No said.
What year did you start playing fantasy football?
I was trying to figure it out today. I think it was about 2008 or 9. I was like sneaking on and playing with random leagues behind my parents' back.
Favorite fantasy football player of all time?
Adrian Peterson.
Least favorite player of all time?
Evan Ingram.
Favorite fantasy football team name?
Eddie Lacy DM me.
What is a sound or noise that you love?
Opening a high noon.
Nice. Crack it open. Favorite swear word?
Fuck.
That's too good. Yeah.
Stop.
What are the most leagues you have played in at one time?
Like 34.
Damn. Most exciting fantasy football moment for you?
Oh gosh, winning last year without a QB at all somehow because of my team. It was insane.
You grinded that one out. I like it. I like it.
Which is probably luck.
Favorite game day beverage? I think we already got a clue on this.
Yeah, it depends what the mood is. I could do anything. Probably still high noon though. Seltzers of some sort.
Versatile. Boneless or bone in?
Bone in.
When you rank your players, do you prefer to ask the experts or trust your gut?
Gut.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, this is a specially tailored question, but I'm actually going to ask Johnny and Austin first and see what their response is. This is actually Steph's question, but for you guys, and then we'll finish with Steph here. So out of the current NFL players, Austin, we'll start with you. Who comes to mind when I say dad, daddy, and father?
Dad, daddy, and father for NFL players. I'm going pure kicker edition on this one, Travis.
I love it.
Dad,
different.
Dad, Rodrigo Blankenship. Daddy, Evan McPherson. Father, Justin Tucker.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think you could swap McPherson and Rodrigo, but I dig it. Both of them are awesome. All right, Johnny, you're up. Dad, daddy, father.
Okay, I'm not gonna go with kickers because, like, when I think of a dad, daddy, or father, I instantly think of a quarterback. So mine would be a dad would be Daniel Jones. I'll go with the Giants, but he is a dad. Like that.
Yeah,
That's like
the
given.
khakis, baby.
Yeah, daddy now is like someone that's got a little bit more suave. Gets it. That would have to be Aaron Rodgers, right? Got to be Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that guy
He
can.
thinks he is.
Hey, he can sell catalytic converters, or he can win Super Bowls. You never know. Hey, and then the last I'll say is for the father, I'd have to go with Derek Carr here. Derek Carr gives me father vibes right there, so that would be mine.
Peace be with you, and also with you.
Hey.
All right, Smalls, you're up here. This is your question. Bring us
Oh
home.
gosh, dad, daddy, father. I'm gonna do a Vikings edition because
Okay.
they have been on my
Oh,
mind a lot lately. So Justin Jefferson is just straight up my dad. Like that is my dad. He's going to be my dad. He should be everyone's dad. He is going to have a phenomenal season, and I can't wait for it. My father is Kirk Cousins for sure.
Oh,
a
yeah,
guy,
definitely.
and I'm sure at some point it will come up because of my Kirk Cousins love. That I don't know how much love it is, but yes, I okay, whatever. What am I missing? So I did father, I did daddy, or I did dad.
Yeah.
I need daddy. Oh, well, I'll go spicy. I'll go with my buy low candidate right now, and Alexander Madison, because I'm trying to get some word out about this guy. So he's my daddy this year. I think this is going to be the last year you're going to be able to get this guy cheap.
Yeah, it might be. It might be his last daddy year priced in. Then he's going to go full dad after this.
Exactly.
Get him now.
Yeah, there's levels to this shit,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
that's
Right here.
What's up and welcome back, Whisper Nation, to the one and only glorious 1 a.m. mock draft. Probably one of the only ones you're ever going to see this late at night. But we're going 24 hours, baby. And I'm joined this time by my best friend, just one of my best friends this time. That's all right. Austin, the main man seer. Oh, we got to look. Travis was trying to sneak in.
Get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah, what is he trying to do? He's supposed to be on break right now. But Austin, we got another set of wonderful guests. This time, we got two guys. Hey, they come and mock draft with us there. You know them. Classic Mike and Get Right Fantasy from the Get Right Fantasy Network. Welcome into the show. Welcome into the mock draft marathon.
What up?
But guys chilling backstage. We appreciate you. And you guys ready to mock?
I'm ready, man. I'm excited, dude. I've been in the last 3 mocks, man. You
Let's
guys
go.
are just
Warming
killing
up, huh?
it, dude. This
I
is
got
right
my
3
hour
up my
break.
alley, man.
Rastafari, man, it's
I'm
great to meet you
Rastafari,
here.
man.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been vibing. I've been vibing on your drafts here. I've appreciated the work you put down. Good to
Appreciate
see you.
it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been a lot of fun. I've been chilling in the pool all day, man, out here in Palm Springs.
Let's
All
Just
right.
drafting, drinking. It was just a good day, man. So I'm ready to do this, man.
It's great.
Let's
It's
go.
great to and I'm gonna meet you here, Mike. It's great to see you too, man. It's
Great
been
to see
fun
you,
chatting
brother.
up a little bit on Twitter. It's cool to finally connect.
Hell yeah.
Good shit.
I love it, man.
Mike, you want to take a second and just introduce you and Anthony?
Well,
and let
yeah.
us know where you can find you guys on Twitter.
Well, of course,
Things
you can
like that.
find us. You can find us at Get Right Fantasy. On Twitter. You can find us on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, of course. We're trying to do as much as we can. We have a lot going on that we're working on. Me and Ant. Ant's the CEO. I'm just kind of the guy that's been out here being a degenerate, and so is Rasta. So we're just doing the best we can. We do Friday night mocks every Friday night. Try to get people in there. So we're mocking literally every week. We've been doing it since April. So we don't stop. And we
Mock
even do
tournament
stuff
coming up.
Oh yeah, we got our mock tournament next month.
Ooh.
Trying to get in for our listener league and $50 and all this other fun stuff. So we got a ton going on. I have another promotion we're going to do a little bit later. We have big guests coming on the next few weeks. So it's been exciting. Very exciting.
Love it. Love it. Hey, don't stop the mock. That's what we always say, right?
Yes,
Absolutely. We got a fun.
Before we do get this one fired up really quick, I think that we've got Boston trying to get in the draft here. Donnie wasn't able to share the copy invite links. I'm just going to drop this one now because I think I can do that.
Oh yeah.
Going through. Yep, there we go. Boston Strangler. You should be able to click the link now in the comment. This will get you in here to our 12-team half-point PPR best ball draft.
Let's go. I was excited to pull a best ball draft, man. I got sucked
That's
in
all
that
I've been
underdog
doing
this year, man. It's crazy.
What stood out in best ball to you guys the most?
Just the wide receiver heavy builds, man. I mean, it seems like everyone's going hero RB or, this double hero RB or just straight zero, RB in this, the week 17 stacks, it gets interesting, the whole stacking your quarterback with the wide receiver 4, and just all the different builds that you can do. It gets interesting. So it's nice to just have a lot of tickets in there and see what ends up happening. It's only like my second year playing best ball like this on Underdog, so still trying to get all my data together.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, and it's awesome that we've got only one spot left in here, Whisper Nation. So we'll give it like another 30 seconds. If you got the space to jump in, if you're looking to do it, we got the links here in the comments and also over on Facebook. I don't think it's on Twitter. I don't know, but the comments are here.
Yeah,
and the link is there.
We posted it all over Twitter.
Oh shit, good.
Oh yeah, we appreciate that.
This is a Boston Strangler asking what's the league settings here. It's a 12-team half-point PPR single quarterback. It's a best ball, and we've got 3 wide receivers on the roster. Everything else,
it's a typical, except for that's typical for Underdog. Same setting.
Yeah, standard is. All right, well,
should be.
I
I
like
like these ones because then you can just swing for the fences.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's so much fun. I mean, me and Rasta hits me up literally almost every day going, hey, you want to do a
best ball?
Let's do a best ball. And I'm like, dude, it's very late. Like, come on. I mean, it's 4:00 here. So, I mean, he'll hit me up. Yeah. Let's do it right now.
Yeah, I'm like, so. Yeah, I'm like, so.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna hit me up probably right after this and go, hey, do you want to do one of these Pomeranian ones that are like $3 and you can win 50,000? Like, hey, honestly, I just saw those like today and I'm like, holy crap, it's almost full. Like these things fill up quick and it's fun. We have a blast anytime that we do it. I try to get my brother involved as much as possible. He ain't awake right now, otherwise I'd get him in here. So
I have
What's up, AJ? Hop in here, man.
Oh, there
we go.
Got one. Grabby.
Andy graciously started it because he is the
my man.
I think he'll probably we'll see if that ends up going on to an auto pick in
he's been working hard all day, man.
Picks.
Yeah, I know. He needs a break.
Yeah, Cassie could be drafting this.
Oh, see, AJ was saying he'll take that spot, but it's all good, man.
Well, we got another one coming up
already, man.
Good. Guess what, man? 45 minutes. We got another one coming your way.
I was just gonna say, you just got you got them all day long, my friend. I did as many as I could in the beginning, and then I'm like, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock rolled around. I'm like, I gotta get at least a couple hours of sleep.
Nice,
rolling all the way through, baby.
I love the way you started off this one talking about how it's 4 a.m. and he's sending you a DM being like, yo, you want to do this? Jesus. Because it's like, we love this shit so much. We will do 24 hours of mock drafting. And then like later on Sunday, we'll probably like, if our league of record threw out a mock in the league chat, like we'd hit okay. We jump in there. Like,
let's get in there. Yeah, no, it's our mock tournament's going to be crazy. We run them every day.
Yeah. Tell us about this. What do you guys do?
So we run the tournament basically the 4 weeks leading up to the start of the season. We run a mock draft Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yep.
The top 3 drafters from each mock in the weekly championship round on Friday, and that's the live stream. And the top 3 winners from each of those weeks will then drop into a best ball for a chance to win $50. Get right T-shirt, a couple other things, little prize package. So it's just a little fun way to kind of just fly right into the season and kind of wrap up the mock
I do
season.
like that.
So
That's a really cool idea.
Is this the
appreciate it,
first
man.
year you've done that?
No, we did it last year, man. It was a lot of fun. And then so that's why when I heard you guys were doing this, I was like, wow, that's kind of similar to what we do. We just stretch it out over a month, and you guys just cram it all in 24 hours. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
We actually,
go ahead.
I was gonna say we were doing it last year before we got the paid promotion thing, and it like shut us off right in the middle of doing it, where we had
no.
Yeah. We were we were out for what, like a day, and they wouldn't let us back for a day. Or a week.
We like somehow
it
went
was
in
almost
YouTube
a week.
jail or something for a minute.
We were in
'cause
YouTube jail for a minute.
Promoting our cash prizes not in the right way or something, but
it was
they
really
ended up
funny.
fixing it. Yeah, it was kind of scary for a second. We're like, oh no.
5 seconds. Oh, there it is.
They did that one time the first time when we started streaming one of the NFL games. Like we did
that too.
Yeah, we weren't showing. We were just talking about it.
Oh, I showed it. I didn't care.
Oh, not quite. Yeah, they like shut us down, and then we're like, what just happened? This is wild. And I was like, oh, they probably just saw because it said the title of the game that night, and they probably
we got a cease and desist on one of the when we had like an extended Ric Flair gif. We do our whisper woos anytime we get hit with a super chat. We had like an extended one. He like went into his whole slogan in it, and we did that once, and we weren't able to do it anymore. And like we looked and like we cut that one out, and it's been fine, and we haven't had any issues with any of the other ones. But yeah, we did that, and
that's funny.
Wow. Yeah, so it's crazy getting caught up in that little YouTube conundrum sometimes. So it's
trying to find the line.
You toe that line just enough. So
yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. But yeah, man, whoever this is here on the 12th spot, I was hoping I'd be able to go Adams and Kelsey there.
That's our boy Johnny. That's the man behind the glass right now.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's
Well,
been in everything. I love seeing him.
I was hoping I could grab him there, man. Dang it.
He's like the whole brains on the whole thing. We just got like we got all of our plugs just like literally going into his different orifices, and like
he's our Wilson. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Wilson's one of our biggest ambassadors. He literally he gets everybody that we've had for shows for the most part. I've done a lot of. I just literally got on Twitter, like a month ago. So for me, it's just been like trying to grind that out. But it's for me, it's a networking tool. Like that's how I've been using it. And I loved we got Dave on the show a little while ago or about a couple of weeks ago, and I love it. I love being able to do this. Johnny, no.
No, I was just trying to decide whether
it's kind of the coolest part I think about fantasy football too, right? Like you get a chance to talk.
Community.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just like how cool the community is, but for the most part, the accessibility of it. And I look at it because people just love what they're doing. I've thought about it a couple of times, and some folks will get wrapped up into a little bit of ego, or they just might have a schedule that doesn't allow for more connection. But it's usually the latter on it. And like the higher up you find people in the space, like the more and more they're just about the good stuff. And they're opened up and they're connected, and the limitations simply come from the limitations of 24 hours in a day.
Right.
But like people are about the good stuff on it, and that's connecting and being there. And if they have a chance to come on your show, like they're going to do it because they like it.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah. And that's why, we thought it was so cool. We tried to reach out, to Travi, and, he was, was able to come on, with us. And
he was the first one of the year.
Yeah. One of the first ones we had. So, it just kind of springboarded us and said, hey, he gave us a shot. We're still a little kind of up and coming here. Yeah. But it was great that he was able to take the time and obviously started a great little relationship here, and it's just great to be around these people in this space, man. And again, we're just all some degenerates here. I know you guys see my comments all day. I mean, who else is sitting up here mocking, man, and streaming at 1 a.m. or 4 a.m. over there after being up here all night, man. So
hell yeah,
it's just a lot of fun, man. It's just a great space, and like you said, as long as the people keep their egos and things out of it and kind of keep them in check. It's just like we're all here to, man, just have fun. We're talking just like we would anyway. We're just throwing a camera on, and just letting other people, enjoy it, take it if
Just
you
come
will.
around and connect and breathe in it. And like literally when we talk on Whisper Nation, like, hey, if you like what you're listening to and you want to be a part of a community where you belong, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and help bring more people in here who love this so much. It's like, obviously the growth is great. The growth comes with added opportunities, added resources, added access, all kinds of things. Like, yeah, for sure. But the real driver of it is when we're like, we want to connect with more people who love this. Like, you can't, the energy you get from somebody who loves what you love coming in and talking on your levels, like where you're vibrating and just enjoying it. Like, there's nothing better than that. Like, when you are in that conversation, there's literally no place in the world you'd rather be.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like part of the reason why I even started, Get Right, was because I wanted to surround myself around, people that were just as crazy, if not crazier than me about fantasy football. I wanted to just bring my level of, fantasy football, I just wanted to raise it and see if I am actually as good as I am and get in these high competitive leagues and, get in here with, the analysts and, see if I can compete. And, sure enough, here we are a year later, and this is what we're doing. Obviously you guys are recognizing, drafts and things like that.
Damn,
and, so it just seems like, this is where I wanted to be. So we've started a great dynasty league by our OG original subscribers.
Nice.
We have a great dynasty league that's going there. And it's just super competitive, a lot of fun. A couple of the guys, Dim Boys here, that's in the 10 spot ahead of me. He's in there. And, it's just a super competitive league. And, I just love it, man. I mean, this is why, I wanted to play it. It's like, it doesn't even have to be high stakes, man. It's just, going in there and just having that pride and putting, your just ego where your mouth is,
just putting it where it is, right?
Like, it's just like you want to do it, you want to compete, man, and just ride that roller coaster out throughout the year, man. Just don't want to do anything else.
It's like you talk like getting to chop it up a little bit with like the bigger guys in the space. And the thing I've always loved so much about sports conversation, whether you're just talking about which NBA team you like to be in the finals this year, or you're talking about who your favorite wide receiver sleeper is, whatever. It's all thought experiments, and it's all rhetoric, it's all debates, and it's all built on bullshit. Like you have legit points that you can hold, but you're making points and you're selling points, and you're playing with all different kinds of elements, right? Like you can try to be like really studious, or you can kind of like try to like just be loud and just like get people to like cower back, and it's just this. That's what it is when it just jumps into it. So anybody, you can be saying something, and a little kid can walk up to you and be like, your take is off. And you'd be like, what? And that they can like, and then if they can speak words behind it, like, then that's it. And you're like, damn. And everyone's like, oh, and like, that's the cool part. It doesn't matter if you're, Stephen A. Smith or like, Stephen Y. Smith. Like, it doesn't, it's like, the words, it's, do your words stack or do they not?
Yeah. And to me, that's like the best part about it is I love, because I try to come in it too with an open mind. Like my whole, attitude is change my mind. Like, again, that's why we have this platform. I'm like, bring your arguments, change my mind. Like, I'm not dead set. Like, if you come bring some information and, some numbers and things that make sense to me when I put them all together, then, I may sway, I may change my mind. One big part about that, you guys had Drew on the show, the other day. And, my whole outlook of Kamara is changing a little bit here, and I'm taking him a little earlier. So, it's just, that's what I love about it, man. I mean, you just get the insight and try to just gather as much data and info as you can, man, and make your decision.
It's like curiosity over closure. I say that all the time to Travis, like, you got to prioritize curiosity over closure. And when I say closure, it's like, this is the right point. Listen to me now. It's like, that is ego talk. And curiosity is like, well, tell me why you think he's actually better than the guy I just said. And if they can actually make a point that's better, then you're both smarter on this. And like what my Twitter bio used to be, my opinion changes with new information. I do my best to make that so. And just like you brought up, with the new points there on Kamara, they shifted up and I've taken Kamara now in a couple of drafts because it's like, oh, that's new information.
If he's not missing 6 games and you're getting him in the 3rd or 4th, I mean,
you're getting him for a steal.
I mean, even in the 2nd is ridiculous. I mean, just
see, this is one way that
I'm going to do that, Dim Boys. I knew you were going to do that. Sorry.
You want to know some? Yeah. Well, that's the funniest part. This is the funniest part right here. So we were talking about the concept of changing, minds and making, people realize what they want and what they don't want. It's gotten to the point where Rasta now, just in the second round drafts Joe Mixon, who all of last year hated him,
Wasn't touching him.
and wasn't going to touch him, wasn't going to do anything. I have literally been beating the drum for Joe Mixon for all last year. He was one of my big picks, and no way, no. Now he's drafting him right here, and I'm just it makes me feel good that I actually one of the things that I've made him change his mind about. Everything else, no.
Johnny and Travis's are my favorite on those. Like going back,
yeah.
I mean, Zach Moss. That was Zach Moss, Devin Singletary. That was a big one for you guys. I mean,
you guys have been arguing about Singletary, and I love it. I am high on him.
Who are you guys? Who'd you guys so high? Oh, yes, right. The Singletary and Cook, man. Lauren and I. You and what was the backup running back for Pittsburgh? That one got a little violent.
That one got.
Oh my God, Benny Snell.
Benny Snell versus Anthony McFarland.
Anthony,
Oh, it got fucking nuts. I think like we had to like shut the stream down at one point. Like I'm not even kidding. It was a test moment.
This is where I love being on with Johnny now, because now I can actually back him up with Gesicki, because was probably my favorite thing that I've been watching all day is watching him defend Gesicki, and I love it because I am on board with that. I think Gesicki's going to have a year.
Let's go. What kind of year? Is he going to outdo 100? Is he going to outdo 110 catches?
Yeah.
He's going to outdo 110.
Or he's going to go at that. He's going to go at 110. Well, did he have 110 catches?
112 targets. Is he going to get more than 112?
I was like, yeah. I was like, no.
I was like, I knew that number was high. He had what, like 90 catches for what? I'll take a look.
700 yards.
I think it was like 70 something catches, 112 targets for like 700 yards and change. And I'm just like, Johnny, when you told me that Gesicki got 112 targets, I was like, fuck, dude. How many tight ends got? How many tight ends got more? I mean, Dalton Schultz, that we call a volume monster, at 104. targets. Right. You know, he's a game behind. He's a decent game behind in terms of the targets. But my thing about Gesicki is like the targets are insane. Why would those go up when he's now got better competition ahead of him to catch passes? And even if he just repeated what he did, okay, fine. That's like a back end tight end one. Is he going to do better than that this year?
Or he can just have the touchdown regression, or, you know, the positive touchdown regression that he needs. And that's what's going to make him better, because honestly, they need red zone threats. They don't have anybody other than Adam Shaheen. And at the same time, they don't need to use him as a blocker. They have Tyron Smith and Jesse Davis on both sides, who are probably two of the better ranked, left and right tackles in the game right at this moment. So for him to be, coming in and doing a chip block, that's all this is short, intermediate passes. And that's all he needs to do is get those, and then he can make the run. Now, I understand that he is also one of those players that is more of a 50-50 ball guy where he can go up and get it. And that's what he did last year for a lot of it. But he has the ability to do, anything in that system. I'm excited for what they're going to do with him, honestly.
I like it too.
Yeah.
You make me even more.
Sorry, he's one of my guys.
Good.
Love it.
It's all pointing there. It all should work. And you should move on that. Like I always say, don't get complacent just because things have it. Like it's one of those things when you like Baltimore keeps running a rotation, a committee backfield. They're always just going to do that. Don't worry about getting the running back. Don't make a stab for it. It's like, dude, they're going to keep doing that until they're not. Like, and it's an opportunity then if they haven't yet solidified who the guy is. Don't stop taking lotto tickets.
Those are like generally the ones that you want to target.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they're going to be valuable.
I can't get on board with J.K. Dobbins in any shape or forms. Like I can't do it. Like I want to be on board. I see the potential for the system. I see them running. I love the run heavy defensive system. Like that's great. But at the end of the day, he got the opportunity, and then of course he gets hurt. Now we can't project the injury and all that. That's fine. But at the same time, he's saying that he's going to come back early and does the whole thing with Ian Rappaport, and it is what it is. But at the same time, we're getting told by other people that that are doctors, that are real people in this space. Like you guys had Edwin on a few weeks ago, and he's basically saying like the week one projection is probably not going to happen. He's probably going to start on the pup, and he's probably going to go and we haven't seen. I don't know if they put out the pup for them yet. But I mean, it's at that point where he's probably going to be starting on it. He's probably going to
He
not
is.
be back.
They did
He
put
is,
him on
right?
that. Yeah, they did.
So
put
then,
it on.
at the end of the day, do you really believe what JK is saying? No, because you're going to listen. At this point, he's not going to. He lowers his. I mean, I don't know if his ADP is really affected. I mean, honestly, where is he? He's in the 5th round. So I guess his injury is tied into the ADP, but I won't touch him with the 10-foot pole because of Lamar Jackson being the RB1 there. Like that's my problem with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm taking your
take.
take. Yeah, no, I'm taking
I've been
your
preaching
take.
that
It's
for
fine.
years. Lamar's the RB1 in Baltimore.
I'm just behind you. Yeah,
I'm with it. I just think that there's, again, we just look at it with rose color, rose petal glasses, and the fact that like we're just seeing upside, which again I don't deny he's a home run hitter, but again there's so many things against a player that now like you're having to like go.
But here's the thing: if he does good, if he actually does fill into that role, though, I know Lamar has been the back, but I thought Dwayne McFarland made an excellent point about like systems change when different players make the system change, and Cam Newton didn't throw to the halfback until a dude named Christian McCaffrey showed up.
Yeah.
And then they started to develop a pretty good relationship over there. So like if J.K. Dobbins is that talented, and you got to make a judgment call on that, and then he's got to be healthy, and then he's got to be like fitted for the role. There are, but that's also what I'm saying though. Like his maybe his price right now is still a little bit too high. But if Mike, you're telling me now you're falling off, and more people start falling off of him. And let's say he is healthy, and let's say he is that guy, and like he does, and it's like boom, now you got an RB1 when a lot of people faded.
So where would you? I mean, for me, he's at the bottom of that running back tier that I basically just don't want to touch anybody. Like what the tiers that
I'm not taking him.
That's my point. Like he's at the bottom of that tier. Like I'm looking at what we're doing right here. Now, granted, it's best ball. Everything might be a tad different than normal, but at the end of the day, the end of that tier is Dobbins and Eli Mitchell. I mean, at this point, I'd rather have Mitchell over Dobbins in a lot of ways. And it's only because he's in a decent system. And, that's about it. But they're in the same type of system.
Come week 1, do you take Mitchell over Dobbins?
No, I'd probably take Mitchell.
But what about Trey Lance starting at quarterback? If that happens,
he's not starting.
Is he going to be the... I mean, they gave Jimmy G the permission to go out and seek a trade. Do you not think they get a trade done, or do you think they don't cut him before that? Do you think they keep him?
They're giving them the opportunity because he's at that point in on this team. They understand that they have Trey Lance that they can use, but I don't think they're really on board with him. And Dave was talking about this before. I was thankfully able to see that, and I agree with what Dave was saying, is that they really, at this point, they love Jimmy Garoppolo. They have a great relationship. Now, we have the resident, San Francisco 49ers fan in the house that can probably...
I was going to say, I commented a little different on that one.
I agree. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to happen. Like, he's going to probably stay. They don't have really anyone behind him. And, if you give away a guy like him, like, I understand their position right now because they don't have... Right now, he's eating up, what is it, 26 million on the cap, and on top of that, they need that cap.
Oh,
well, they need that cap for...
Take that one back, or
it is what it is.
They need the cap just to get a... They're really weak at D-back right now. Like, you guys are incredibly weak at defensive back, and you have nobody else.
True.
So now,
they signed Shavarius Ward, but I mean that's about it.
Ew. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's
Ward is
again. Yeah, I mean,
come on,
nothing.
Like,
great. Yeah.
So it's at that point where they need to at least get something from training camp where someone's caught and they're like, oh, I like that guy, and they can at least do something. They don't have a lot of room to maneuver. And with Jimmy's contract gone, I understand it. They should have done it months ago when they had the opportunity. So I think that they're keeping him for a reason. There's giving him the ability to go out and trade or like go look for a trade. That's one thing. Like, something couldn't happen. Like, but at this point, I think it's just more of just humoring him and humoring the media to like give them a storyline, I guess. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
what do you think, Rastafarian, as the 49ers fan?
Right. Well, as I said earlier on the stream, I don't know if you guys maybe remember, it was a while ago in one random comment. But to me, I said he had his chance. He had 2 chances actually. Had the chance in the Super Bowl, obviously overthrew Manny Sanders there. And then obviously the way and the fashion in which he went out last year in the NFC Championship game. I think they're ready to turn the page at this point, obviously with what they invested in him. I think they're doing it the right way, so we don't get into like a Baker Mayfield situation. It doesn't seem like we're kind of getting in that type of heat. Like I think they're trying to keep it cordial because I think the relationship, like you were saying, is better than what it was between Baker and that organization.
Damn you, Johnny.
So I think they're just getting it out there, and again, like how everyone thought they were going, Mac Jones, and then we went Lance, and all that kind of stuff. I think they're just kind of playing it and putting it out there, and they're really trying to figure out a trade and make something happen. And with him throwing, and things like that now, I think they get it done before the start of the season. And again, worst case, even if they don't, if he sits, if he stays, I still think it's Lance. We've seen Shanahan, he doesn't care about like draft, like if he likes you and he wants to move forward with you, he doesn't care what the team's paying you, what they're invested in. Like that's what
problem
it is.
He likes Jimmy G. That's the
whole
thing.
That's my whole thing. If he liked him that much, he would have played last year. They would have sat Jimmy.
I don't think he was ready. He wasn't ready last year.
That's even more my point. He's still not ready.
Yeah, even Kittle has said that. Kittle has said, "Hey, yes, he's going to make mistakes, but we need to take our lumps because at some point, what are you going to do? You have to play him at some point." That was like his exact quote. So that does not sound like. I mean, yeah, they might have confidence in him because like their whole entire system breeds confidence. I can understand that point. But clearly, like if a player is good, I mean, hell, at least Tyreek Hill is coming out and saying Tua can throw one of the prettiest balls I've ever seen. Whether he's lying or not, at least he's saying it. Like they're just beating around the bush. Which
I was going to say, they haven't really questioned necessarily his arm talent or arm strength and things like that, right? It's more so is decision making, right?
The decision making.
Well, they were. It was, and what they did was they were talking about won the accuracy, and then he threw for, I think it was 11 for 17 at like a 7-on-7 drill or something like that, and they were like, "Oh, he's that much better." It's like, come on, bro. Like no pads. Everyone's kind of like touch football. Come on,
you're supposed to be able to light it, dude. I saw my boy from Philly that got dealt here to the Cardinals throw some nice dimes in 7-on-7. And he didn't do nothing for us. What's it? Oh, now I'm blanking on his name. We traded for him. I was so sold. Kevin Cobb.
Dude,
oh
my
that
God,
dude, Kevin Cobb can light up 7-on-7.
Dude, Kevin Cobb, we signed Kevin Cobb when we went out and signed Kevin Cobb from Andy Reid's used car salesman chucking ass. When he freaking polished that turd up, well, I mean, we picked him up because we had to. We signed Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah. He was the best quarterback available at the time. We needed to demonstrate to Fitz that we were serious about doing all we could to put a viable product on the field. And we did the best that we could. It was just Kevin Cobb was the best we had available. And 7-on-7, he was great, right?
Yeah, 7-on-7. I've never I was like, damn, this guy's got it.
Until I can see something where he's on the field playing against other people 11-on-11 that can throw the ball that accurately, I just don't trust it. And he's someone I don't touch in anything that I do, mock or otherwise. It's just not. He's not a quarterback that I trust. Like I have a thing, and my name shows it in just the context of who I like. Like I like classic guys, like guys that stay in the pocket. I like the guys that can actually
high floor guys.
Yeah, I like the high floor guy compared to the high ceiling guy. And for me, that it's just because of consistency. I like consistency over the ceiling because at the end of the day,
if first you last for me.
I know that. But my whole point is that if you're consistent throughout the year, at the end of the year, you're going to be at a better position than you are if you're on a team or have a team that has all upside. And I understand, like, if you want to balance it out and have a few upside picks here and there, and that's what you're supposed to do. But I'd rather be consistent throughout the whole year, getting that, getting to that fourth or third seat in my home league. We do a 10-person keeper league. We've been doing it for years. It's probably the one I love the most. And well, beyond my salary cap dynasty league. But in that particular league, the 4th place team has won the last 7 out of 8 years.
Wow.
They won the championship 7 out of. It's insane. I've never seen something like that. Now, I'm only going based on that, and of course, it's not a true. It doesn't happen with everybody. But your team is consistent to the point where that first place team probably drafted a ton of guys that are in the top, however many, and they're all hurt at the very end of the year. That guy in 4th probably drafted a team that was a little bit on the lower side, but they're all gaining steam at the very end of the year. So
it's all about catching fire at the end.
Yeah, it's just, but at the same time, it's based on how you draft it. And I've always been a fan of just being consistent, getting the guys with volume, get that upside pick every so often. But at the end of the day, I just like it. I don't know why.
Do you have a prototypical player who's like your fits your mold?
Oh my God.
Perfect.
For what? For old, new?
Damn it. Whatever comes to mind.
Hey, you sniped me about 30 times now.
Bro, I had my mouse hovered over it because I was so excited. Damn you.
You took Tony from me. You took my boy away from me. Anyway, consistency player. I want to go right now.
It's Marlon Mack, isn't it?
Damn Marlon Mack. I love Marlon Mack in the context of how you guys are playing him with this, but I can't stand Mack. I would have to go a guy I love. Well, this year I love is Cortland Sutton. He's one of my guys that I'm planting my flag on. But beyond him and the prototypical, probably Jarvis Landry. And it's the concept. And it's and I honestly, in best ball, in my exposure rate, he's probably the highest guy that I have. And it's really just because of the possessions. He's going to get 100+ targets this year, and he'll be able to catch every single one of them because he's actually pretty good at catching the damn
maybe
ball.
a Golden Tate back in the day.
Oh, Golden Tate back in the those types of backs. They're just they're consistent. They're just that underneath short route. I don't care if they don't get 1,000 yards. They're going to have, and it's mostly PPR wise, just because PPR, it's so valuable. And I'm not in a lot of standard leagues, so it's at the point where I don't give a crap about, I don't give a crap about the yardage at this point. I rather see the consistency and the volume, and that's one of them. Another one is probably Jamison Crowder, who's coming up soon. I'll just make it known. That's fine. Who can definitely see a huge target share and be that Cole Beasley that everyone loves. Cole Beasley is another guy that I loved, and or Jacoby Myers, who just got off the board.
I was hoping he would slide back to me.
And that's my whole those are the guys that I like aiming for. They mean more to me in most of these drafts.
They're staples in their offense. Yeah. They're probably not the big play guy. It could happen, but they're going to be involved no matter what's going on, and that's reliable. That's points in the bank.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I always aim for those guys. They just make more sense to me. Going for high upside, great. I did it here with, Tyreek Hill is my RB1, or sorry, my wide receiver 1. I see the potential, but at the end of the day, he also is a good possession guy.
Sure.
There's two ways. I like the dual threat guys that can do both, so I look for those. Robinson, it can be that way, Lazard, things like that. Where I'm just trying to look for consistency. And then if they have upside, great. Boyd's another guy that I just looked at for RJC.
Yeah.
He's another guy I'd love to see. Thielen. I can go on and on, believe me.
These are I feel I appreciate this. It's a little bit, it's not contrasting. It's just clear. Yeah. And I appreciate that one. We got a clear whole draft now completed here. Well done, boys. Rossfarn, you want to go ahead and give us a breakdown? Let us know what you liked about your squad now that it's all wrapped out.
That's great, man. I went with a hero RB build in this one, being best ball. So I just kind of grabbed my anchor RB, like Mike said, and Joe Mixon there in the second round. And then just basically loaded up on, wide receivers. I wanted to make sure I took, a good amount, before that 9th round, before it kind of starts to dry up. And again, in a best ball, I want to, take those guys that I feel like I have, some potential upside there. So I kind of smashed that out, and I want to, still grab what I felt was one of the, elite quarterbacks that's still available there. Maybe not elite, but top 10-ish. For me, I think I have him like number 7, Brady there. Actually, no, I actually have Brady at 5.
I mean, he showed that he's still elite last year.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess he just edges it right there at QB5 for me.
Yeah.
And then I just try to grab some of these running backs. Obviously, in a full best ball, we'd have a few more rounds to grab a couple more of these RB2s, so to speak, and RB3s. And I just want guys that could potentially come in and have some roles. But really, I'm banking on my wide receivers to make up that difference. So I don't think it was too bad. And then rounded it out, with Everett, who I like as a late tight end, greater late, as they say. And, just grabbed Wilson as a backup. I probably should.
I love this. I like this.
Yeah.
I like
do
this
like
as
this
a
a
best
lot.
ball draft. I think this is well done. I also like classic Mike coming in here with the super
Appreciate you.
hitting us
Look
up
at
with
that
the
multitasking here. Well,
I wanted to, that too. I
got it.
wanted to bring this up because I work with, the intellectually disabled. Like that's my day job. That's what I do. And I work in quality. Well, I work in quality assurance, but for the first 15 years of my working life, I pretty much worked hands-on with a lot of people with intellectual disabilities to any mental, just even mental health with, schizophrenia and things like that. So for me, this is, a great cause. After, seeing what you guys are doing, I wanted to do it while I was on the stream,
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been like, I'm always supportive of it. It's always been a big part of my life in general. So, I love what you
thank
guys
you
are doing.
so much. Well, dude, you're on here with us. You got to now welcome us in here. We got to hit us with a whisper. Woo!
Let's
There
go.
we go. Mike, man,
Awesome,
thank you
man.
so
That's
much.
awesome.
Thank you, man.
That's
sir.
really, really
Appreciate
cool.
you.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you want to take us through your team on this
Sure.
one?
I mean, for me, I got caught off guard because it went so quick to me. But I'm still good with picking Eckler at that point. I love Eckler this year behind, in this particular offense. I mean, they built the line. Justin Herbert is just on fire. He just looks great this season. I am very much on board. Javonte Williams, of course. I'm high on Williams, always have been. I don't care about the split. I think eventually it's going to be, probably more of like a 70-30 split, at the end of the year. So I'm very Travis watching even when he has a break. I love it.
Yeah.
Then we got Tyreek Hill here. I'm big on Tyreek Hill, to be honest. I feel that this offense is going to be more. From what I keep hearing, it's going to be like a West Coast offense that's all short dump passes, running back. Like it's going to be something very simple and something that Tyreek can very much handle and get the volume with Waddle. I think it will be fine.
Stu is also good at too.
Yeah,
He's
well,
really
that's my
accurate.
point.
So,
He's accurate short, and he can also throw it deep when he needs to. Granted, we can go off the the Twitter video all we want, but at the end of the day,
Oh my God,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin, honestly, Carson Wentz did wondrous things with Michael Pittman, and Pittman was what, wide receiver 20, and someone like Terry McLaurin can still play well even with crap. And I think Carson Wentz is probably the better crap that he's played with. So for me, I don't mind him at all. He's a good value later in drafts. I love Allen Robinson. I mean, I was talking with Dave about it. Dave has him at, I think, wide receiver 11 or 12 on his board, on his rankings. And I see it. Like, he has the potential. He's a wide receiver 1 on any other team. And he's playing and connected with Stafford and Kupp to be able to do, have good things happen. I'm on board. AJ Dillon, I mean, for me, I love the Derrick Henry prototype type running back. Like, Eric Dickerson is probably one of my favorite running backs to watch. And Brandon Jacobs, like, for the Giants, like, I've always been the bigger running back, just downhill runner. Always have been. Classic. And Dylan can do it all. Classic. Yeah, I'm a classic. I'm the dude. When the Giants put out their legacy brand, I went nuts. Just because of it's the 80s brand, it's the 90s.
Oh, it's nice though, isn't it good?
Dude, I'm so happy.
One almost might say it's classic.
Classic.
Hey,
See,
but
now you guys
the
know
only
why.
non-classic thing that Classic Mike has said all this whole mock draft is that he actually prefers PPR over standard.
Yeah, that's the weird
that's
thing,
it,
right?
that's it, dude. That's the only thing. I'm like, well,
Well,
that's
just not in
something
any
different.
standard leagues because
Yeah.
they're not there anymore. It
Yeah.
literally evolved, and that's how our league went. Actually, we were standard for a long time, and then all of a sudden PPR became a thing, and we did, we went to half point and stayed in that particular lane, and we've been staying in that lane for a long time. But I love it. Anyway, back to my team. Dylan, I love what he's gonna do. Honestly,
I do too.
Dude, I can talk for hours. I'm trying to keep it on a decent level.
Roll through it, classic.
Yeah. me and Ant do 4-hour shows during the year on Friday nights. So believe me, and we go until 4 or 5 a.m. So this is kind of typical for the two of us. Damian Harris, I like that it's going to be it's more than likely going to be a running back offense. I know we don't know who's going to be the offensive coordinator. I know that I'm having this fun with the concept that Matt Patricia is going to be running the rushing offense and Joe Judge running the passing offense. It doesn't make any sense to me, but they're going to do it, whatever. And if you trust Joe Judge to be your offensive coordinator for anything, you're stupid, but that's me. I had him for 2-3 years anyway. So Matthew Stafford, I just trust and I like the stack with Robinson. So I went with that. Best ball, you're always looking for, that type of, scenario. Gesicki, we already had that conversation. I'm not even going to go into that. Alan Lazard, I like the pick because Johnny sniped me there. And I just didn't like anything.
Reaction pick?
Huh?
Your reaction pick? I never really seen you pick.
I had to because Lazard. I'm on board with Lazard being the only target that Aaron Rodgers actually trusts. And you guys, Austin, you're the Packers fan, so you and Travi. So I mean, you guys have seen it where he's. I love his boom games. His boom games.
Dude, no one talks about him, dude. No one talks about
it.
Lazard has had when he's been in that role, he's done good work for the team and for your fantasy team.
Now the only downside to that is that he was playing with big dudes, guys that actually mattered, like Devontae Adams. He had that guy taking off the coverage. Now he's going to be the guy with the coverage. It's going to be a little bit different in a way, but I still think he can, rip the top off of defense and get those slant routes in. And he's a big dude. He's 6'5". The guy's going to go up there. So, I mean, him and Tunyon are going to be, awesome. I think they're going to be good in the red zone. I'm not going to touch Tunyon unless it's I have to. But I do like Tunyon as a player. He's basically baby Kittle. They work out together. It's a whole thing. Ricard White, I like him. I keep seeing the metrics on him and how much better he is than Breece Hall on some of these metrics, which is insane. I'm following the narratives that I've been following Travi with Henderson, and honestly, I love Henderson. I love that he could be that particular guy. So I'm really excited about that. Tolbert, I love what he's going to do there. I mean, he'll be the slot guy at one point, but he'll be getting a ton of work. I'm excited about that, to be honest. And then Crowder, he'll play that Cole Beasley role. He's just that type of player in that Bills offense. I mean, I'm higher on Gabe Davis just because I'm driving that freaking hype train all the way to the bank, believe me. And believe me, there'll be more to come about Mr. Gabe Davis. I love Gabe Davis.
Especially in best ball. That's
and I'm shocked that he went in the 6th round because he's normally going in the 4th round in any underdog draft.
I had to grab him because I knew you were going to take him right there.
I would have taken him.
Taking him. There was no way he was making it back to me.
Oh no, no. If he was in the 6th round there, I'm definitely taking him. So
there it is.
Well done.
There's a team. Nice team. Nice
I
breakdown on this one. Classic Mike.
Yes,
Rastafarian, we've been doing a little bit of if you catch a roast or a toast, a team that really stands out to you, is there one that grabbed your attention that you want to
for this?
Which, okay, you have one? You have one?
I'm definitely going with the toast.
Go for it.
Okay, sorry, a roast.
Roast away.
And I'm going to roast one of our own here, Mr. FF Season here.
Oh my God, we have to.
I have to give it to him. But no, and it's not.
But he stayed through the whole draft this time, though. At least he didn't auto.
That was good. But my issue with it is the Hopkins Thomas thing there. I mean, to me, that's just too much risk on one team and just kind of PSA out there. I don't mind taking one of these guys in a build, but don't double and triple down like on all these questionable guys. Like if you want to take one,
Gallup.
kind of play like that, then that's cool. I don't mind it.
Oh yeah,
But when you start doubling, tripling down like that, I mean, it's just it gets too too tough for me. And then again, like you said, then he goes Gallup down here as well. That's just too much. Like, and especially in the best ball, you're
a lot of
you're
missed
not gonna
games.
make it. Yeah,
A lot of missed games.
A lot of missed games, and then it's like you have to hold those players. Like people don't realize, like you have to hold them, and then therefore you can't drop them. So you have to drop other potential players that you can play now. And so, like you said, doing one of them is hard enough, but you could do it. But doing both of them, and then adding on a Gallup on top of it makes it really, really difficult.
Yeah. So
I like
not a personal roast, but just a little PSA for all those.
Yeah,
out there that
there's
are
a
still
lot of
watching.
missed games between three guys. Yeah,
it's just too much. Too much for me.
That's an astute pull. Johnny, if you pull back on this one, I did want to just give a quick shout out to an honorable mention to Ronald Calla. I think he did a really good draft here in the 101 spot. I appreciate the build that he had here. And I really liked Nathan Dowie's draft. I think from a best ball standpoint, he hit on a lot of important points. Like even if you don't love all the players, I think he just built this team pretty well. Like, I don't like J.K. Dobbins, but as one of your fourth running backs there, I think it's okay. I like the way that this team was built. I thought it was hit some upside, and then in this best ball format, I think he would do pretty well. So I want to shout that out. And Ronald Calla, nice draft on this one too.
Yeah. Austin, I kind of like Durst, man, for going kind of zero QB.
Yours.
I was like, I kind of just like that a little bit, what you did there. So
thank you.
You're still able to get Fields, Jones, and Goff. I mean, that's
not bad, right?
No,
for a best ball situation.
I mean, all things considered, I mean, that was I love the effort there. That was great.
Honestly, if we had more rounds.
Great. Yeah.
If we had more rounds and this was spread out,
you'd be able to fill that out.
You wouldn't have gotten Goff or Jones, because I would have taken one of the two, if not both. And on top of that, like I love the build otherwise, like because I look for those guys at the end. Like my Scotty Fishbowl, I went with Justin Herbert start, Goff is my second, and I had to grab Trubisky at the very, very end. But at the end, at the end of the day, I rather have those guys at the bottom. I love Davis Mills. I'm on board for that. What he's going to do this year. The next one, I mean, yours is definitely up there with, for me, Dan Boys. I like the build that he has overall, except for the Sanders Gainwell. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna give him a roast there, because he knows better than that. He definitely knows a little bit better than that. So,
also, Ronald coming in and saying you can't drop anyone in best ball. You certainly can in certain leagues.
In some leagues, not in this one.
Not in this one. Well, we can make those the rules. We know the permission.
Guys, this has been an absolute ball drafting with you guys. Yes. Thank you so much for the support in so many ways, man. We'll have to keep linking up in some more ways down the road here.
Oh, for sure. I definitely want to have you guys back on at one point.
To get you guys on Friday night mock, man.
Yeah,
let's do it.
If we can ever do it. I know Fridays are tough for a lot of people, and it is what it is. We'll try our best, but we definitely would love to have you guys on one of our mocks for sure.
We will make that happen for sure. And before you go bye-bye tonight, we want to let the folks know one more time where they can find you and anything you're working on that you keep an eye out for.
Yeah, Ross, let them know.
You want me to do this one? All right, I'll go for it, man. All right, man. You guys can find us at getrightff.com, our website. We got our rankings, links to our videos there. More importantly, get on YouTube, Get Right Fantasy Network. And give us a subscribe, man. We're trying to get there, build it up. So that's where we'd like to funnel the people. And again, we're working on that mock draft tournament for the 4 weeks in August. So if anyone is interested in that, hit us up at Rastafarian on Twitter or at Classic Mike __ GRFN.
Yeah.
There it is.
Love it.
Appreciate it, guys.
No, we appreciate it. We love being on here. We're honored. Believe me. This is something real big for me. I'm really happy.
Cool,
man. Dude. Thank you for sharing that with us. Like, really. Like,
no, honestly, this is
so
the highlight of what what we've been doing in general. I mean, I had Dave on, which is great. All those things, but this means a lot to me. So I was really happy to be a part of this.
Dude, really glad we
appreciate you. Dude. Hey, and thank you for getting us through these late night hours.
Hey, man.
Someone got
it. Not easy.
Hey, we appreciate you. And
absolutely,
fuck you, Alex
guys.
Strove. I love you, man.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
He's all done. You guys, we'll see you soon. We'll drop you on that Friday. Look forward to it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right.
Peace.
All right, Austin.
Johnny, we got Mac. Hour 1 down. Here we go. We got a few. Yeah, we're moving through. We've got some spots open in the draft room, Whisper Nation. I just dropped the link in the chat. Let me get that one dropped here for you guys.
We're ending this stream. We're jumping into
the shit. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a new stream. Stick with us, Whisper Nation. Heading into another show. Make sure you another stream. Yes. Make sure you like this one before you leave. And we love you.
We love you very much. Yeah. John, are we doing an intro video to start the next one off?
Yes, we are. So it'll be a normal intro video, the stadiums, and then we'll be on with Snap, Mac, our boy
from Snap. All right. We'll see you over there. See you in a bit. Bye.
Right here.
Hey, do you like mock drafts? We do too. You can come back every Monday and mock with us. Check out one of these videos and make sure